I mean, as we're getting closer to the college football playoffs, Thursday, my Hurricanes against Ole Miss. Friday, we have what? Indiana, Oregon. Then the weekend, Wildcard games. And then we have the musical chairs in the coaching ranks. I mean, dude, the musical chairs. I'm going to say this to you here about John Harbaugh. Okay? The winner of 180 games. 180 games he's won. He's won a Super Bowl. He has been in numerous conference championship games. And I'm going to apply that to Nick Sirianni here. No matter what your resume says, eventually you're getting canned. It's just a matter of when. Here's John Harbaugh's record the last 4 years. 10-7, 13-4, 12-5, 8-9. Obviously, disappointment this year. 43-25 in the last 4 seasons. And you fired him. You fired a guy who's got a winning record in the postseason, and you fired a guy who is going to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And right now, you want to know what the owner of the Baltimore Ravens did? They just made John Harbaugh the richest head football coach in the league. He's going to make in excess of $20 million wherever he lands. Within a matter of 8 minutes yesterday, when that news broke that he got fired, get this, 8 teams called. There were only 6 openings. 8 teams. That number's gone up more now since the news broke yesterday. He's going to make more than $20 million because he's going to be able to handpick where he goes. And I'm going to tell you why I think, by the way, it's not a John Harbaugh issue in Baltimore. It's a Lamar Jackson issue. John's won a Super Bowl. This is the Lamar Jackson issue. John has nothing to prove. Lamar does. Now the ton of bricks are on him. Harbaugh's proved it. He's won his Super Bowl. This is not him. And by the way, here's why I think he got fired. You ready? He got fired because he didn't lose the locker room. He lost the quarterback. That's what happened. He lost the quarterback. Okay? I completely agree, Marsh. They chose the quarterback. John Harbaugh has proven his knowledge. He's won a Super Bowl. This is on Lamar. Just like it's going to be, you know, the next guy that they're going to do this to? The guy in Buffalo, Sean McDermott. If you can fire John Harbaugh, you're going to fire Sean McDermott. If they get bounced by the Jags in the opening round, I guarantee you he's out. John Harbaugh in Buffalo with Josh Allen, I want to see that. Harbaugh's going to have, if you've got a current head football coach now that you're suspect on, like if you're the Jets, if you're Dan Quinn and Josh Harris, you're going to keep Dan Quinn for John Harbaugh? Think about that. If you're the Buccaneers, are you going to keep Todd Bowles over John Harbaugh? The owner of the Ravens did John Harbaugh the biggest favor you could have ever given that guy. He didn't fail. He delivered a championship. By the way, you want to hear this? That's a franchise that, why would he go to Cleveland? What you have? Rich Lerner, and you had what? You have like this guy, Jimmy Haslam. They've been terrible in Cleveland. Why would John want that gig? You want to go to a place that's got some decent management at least. Okay? And by the way, you got 3 years at $16 million you owe John Harbaugh. He's paid all the way through, like, what is it, 30? 28? That you have to pay him? He's got like 2 extra years, something like that, 3 years left on his contract. This guy's going to be making $16, $17 million a year, sitting on his ass, picking the right job. My point is, if John Harbaugh can be fired, he's only 62. Anybody can be fired. That guy is going to go somewhere, and he's going to make a king's ransom. And he's going to have complete autonomy. Might be Atlanta. I think Atlanta's a good job. You got pieces down there. Sills, if Harbaugh, by the way, Super Chats, please do me a favor and hit the like button. Sills, if Harbaugh wins another Super Bowl to whoever he goes to, this is going to indictment on Lamar. Right now, I see him going to New York or Atlanta. This is going to be an indictment. This is a complete indictment on Lamar. Those two guys couldn't make it happen. There is no doubt. Why in the hell would he go to the Raiders? For what? To work for a guy that looks like Pugsley with that haircut? I mean, the Raiders are a train wreck. Why would you go there? I'd hire John Gruden back. Okay? That's right, man. Sills, how you doing? For John collecting those checks, man. 3 years at 16 to 17 million a year. How you doing? Sitting back on your ass and hanging out eating crab cakes. How you doing? Pillar of his community. Oh, absolutely, man. This is a slap in the face of Lamar. Lamar, you couldn't get it done with a Hall of Fame coach? Who are you going to bring in there for that job? Reports are coming out of Philadelphia. Lane Johnson. You know, when you hear this stuff, it's not so much about whether Lane's going to start on Sunday against the 49ers. It's whether he can finish. He goes in there and plays 1 or 2 plays. You might as not have played him. You might as well have sat him another week and prayed you won without him so you can get into the divisional round with him. What I don't want is a Lane Johnson limping through the playoffs, and when you get into the Super Bowl, you don't have him. Hey, I get it. It's a tough road that you're on right now here with him. I get it. Supers, appreciate it, guys. Thank you. Should Philly go after Cliff Kingsbury? He was fired. Mikey. Cliff Kingsbury is such a wrong fit for Philadelphia because the head coach. By the way, I'm not slamming Nick. This is how they do business. What's that stuff that Xander says all the time? This is the way Philly operates. Stay within that. Mikey, I'm not saying your take is wrong. Kingsbury would be a great RPO guy for Hurts. 2 things, though. They don't hire coordinators for the quarterback. They hire him for the coach. Okay? And Nick's not giving control up when it comes to the offensive play calling. He's just not. We see that. That's not happening. They like to look. They have they barely have any control of Vic Fangio on the defensive side. You got Nick Sirianni on the offensive side. And I think, get this. Can I tell you, when I hear those pressers, when I hear John and Xander talking about the press conferences, do you know, can I tell you, let me ask you this. Do you think people are competitive by nature? Do you? How many people feel they're competitive by nature? You like to compete. Compete with your brothers. I bet you there's a brotherly rivalry that Xander wants to do some of the things that his brother's doing too. Vice versa. I know I had competitive with my cousins, right? Everybody's competitive. Do we not agree? I could see Kingsbury in Baltimore. I could too. Oh my God, Kingsbury with Lamar would be insane. I agree, Marsh. Everybody's competitive. So when those guys are in that pit and they're talking to Nick, do you think he gets sick and tired of hearing you say this? How about this? Your offense sucks and your defense is spectacular. Boy, your defense under Vic is great. Your offense sputters on offense. Your defense, man, the concepts, I mean, the things that they do. Look at what he's done with the linebackers. As an offensive-minded guy like Nick, you think that wears him out a bit? Why wouldn't it? He's competitive. He says he's competitive. That's his offense, he says. Okay? That's his offense. By nature, you're competitive. And, like you said, Mikey, there's only one head coach screaming at people, fans and whatever. Sirianni's got a gigantic ego. So when you hear the questions being asked, offense blows, defense gets praise. How do you think he feels about that? Great. Especially when he's got his name on the offense. How do you think he feels about that, as competitive as he is? And I do agree he is. Right? Your offense goes nowhere. It's so inconsistent. When he was answering questions, he was defending Kevin Patullo. Wasn't praising anybody on offense. The defensive side of the ball, the questions were praise. Look at what the job that Jalen Phillips has done. How about the things that you're seeing with Zach Bond and what Vic has done with him? Look at the player development on that side compared to the player development on the offensive side. You think there's competitive juices that go back and forth? I know this. When you're in an NFL locker room and you're in an NFL setting, everything's competitive. Did you see J-Mac hint at this morning that Lane injury may actually be mental health related? Also, who do you think would hold us back mostly on Sunday? You know, I stay away from mental health stuff like that because I'm not in the building with him, and I know that he struggled with it. And John's around him a lot more than me, so I'm going to lean on John with that, being around him more. I just know that mental health has been an issue. I've talked to Jay Glazer about it. He and Jay Glazer are very good friends. And so that I've heard the same issues, that there's mental health issues there sometimes with Lane Johnson. So I'm going to abstain from that. And Liz Frank, hey, by the way, you know what he could be debating? Hey, no one likes to be beat up and hurt. Especially this late in his years in the NFL. Okay? I think what you do is you throw a prayer out for the guy. Hope things are cool. Mental health's a thing, dude. You know, years ago it was looked at as being like soft. Years ago, if you mentioned stuff like that, I showed you a newspaper article when I had my issues with the Bucks. Dude, it's a real thing, man. Some have it deeper, some don't. He should feel the shame of his lack of ability to call an offense. Okay, now Marsh, going back to the topic here a little bit. Well, when you hear Vic talking and they're talking about Vic, all you hear is the praise. I don't hear any offensive praise. Okay? Nick said something today, so let's get to the topics. Do me a favor, guys. Please hit the like button. Thank you guys very much. I appreciate all of you. I think this is going to be one of the most entertaining playoffs that you could possibly have. Nick said something in the presser. It's funny, when I hear the presser, I hear something completely different than a lot of people. Nick said that the offense has an identity. Will somebody explain to me what it is? I'm asking a question here because I don't know what it is. Nick said in his press conference that the offense has an identity. What is it? What's the identity for the 2025 Philadelphia Eagles? What would you call their identity? By the way, Battle Royale, Big Z will be with us at 3:30. Prevent offense. Okay? Incompetence in play calling. Guys, I'm not looking to slam anybody here. I'm asking you what you think their identity is. Okay? Let's go with the number one Eagle fan in Philadelphia. Gritty, inevitable underdogs. How can you be an underdog when you're the defending champs? That's not an identity for an offense. Inconsistent. Okay? Anybody with any kind of, what was he talking about when he said identity? Here would be my identity. What I would call them heading into the playoffs. I think they have a lack of identity. I don't know where, and now look, when you have, sometimes he gets in front of the microphone, he doesn't tell the truth. That football team doesn't have an identity on offense. I think he got an identity on defense. You know what it is? Relentless pursuit. Now, let me give you my takes on defense and what I think their identity is. Strong, fast, relentless, smart, high IQ, technicians, gap responsibilities. I'll tell you, the people that play on that Vic Fangio defense have some of the highest IQ of football you'll ever see in your life. And they excel. It's relentless pursuit. Zach Bond sets the tone. Cooper sets the tone. As a matter of fact, the tone setter on that defense is Cooper DeJean. Ever since you put that guy into the starting lineup last year, was it after the bye they did it? Maybe a game before the bye? Ever since you put that kid in the starting lineup, the attitude and identity of the football team was built. He has set the tone for that defense and the way that defense pursues, the way that defense tackles. Listen how I'm talking about the defense. Again, I asked the question. I'm following up on the coach's comments. What's the identity of the offense? Stumbling? Wobbling? Help me out here. By the way, you better figure it out because you got the opening round of the wild card coming up. How important is that? Well, I'll tell you what I think San Francisco's is. Spread you out. And they're going to try to beat you clearly in the passing game. And they're going to try to beat you, I think, with a little bit too much finesse. The Eagles, in my opinion, I don't know what you are in offense. I know what you are in defense, though. I think you're a half team with great playoff experience. And your experience has clearly, and your talent has overcome the lack of an identity. Cooper and Bond are the backbone of the defense. Yes. Some would go, so is Carter. I think Carter's just a great player in there. I think the backbones and the identity of your defense is Zach Bond and Cooper DeJean. And I'll tell you what, I feel a little better when Dean's in there playing too as the lightning bolt. The guy looks like he gets electrocuted every time he runs to the football and he's blowing people up. Okay? Hey, Sills, what other team is dominant on both sides of the ball? That's why it's wide open. Hey, I didn't say that you didn't have an opportunity at winning the Super Bowl. That's not what I'm saying. Okay? That is not what I'm saying here. Vic's system calls you to be a disciplined unit until certain key players like Coop, Dean, and Bond have elevated it with physicality and high IQ. Don't trust Kevin Patullo. Isn't it funny? You hear now people saying that Kevin Patullo is not very good. Kevin Patullo was the wrong idea. Hey, guys, we questioned it when they named him day one. And don't pretend you didn't hear it. I know some of you now pretend you didn't hear shit we say. But we said it from day one. Why are you hiring a guy that's never, ever in a million years ever called to play? And you're handing it over to a guy that just won the MVP in the Super Bowl. It was one of the major questions we were asking the entire offseason. Why are you doing that? It's played out that way. Here you are. But by the way, it's irrelevant of a conversation anymore. You're in the playoffs. You're here. Whether Kevin Patullo sucks or not is irrelevant. It really isn't. It's an irrelevant conversation now. It's January 7th. You got to go play 60 minutes against the Niners. Whether Kevin Patullo sucks, whether Kevin Patullo's the right guy, that shit's for the offseason now. Or whenever it comes. If it does come. You know, I hear people on like the radio stations still debating Kevin Patullo. You're like, Kevin Patullo? Dude, it's January 7th. The opening round of the wild card is this week. What the hell kind of conversation is that? Is he good? We got 17 games to see it. You know if he's good or not. You know he's not good. You know he's spotty. That conversation doesn't have to be had. You know why? Look at the sample size of 17 ball games. 5 months of football. You don't have to say anymore. But when I heard Nick, and by the way, Nick was defending Kevin Patullo, says he's done a great job. So Nick says the football team on offense has an identity, and Kevin Patullo's done a good job. If that's what he thinks a good job is, so be it. We're going to find out. And I'm going to make this comment here to you on a Wednesday. Do I think the 49ers are better than you? No, I don't. No, not that group. I don't. But that's been irrelevant this year with the Eagles. Whether a team's better than you or not, you've lost to lesser teams. It's the first time in the Nick Sirianni era where you're not sure going into games with lesser teams if you can beat them. Or if the ugly Eagles show up or if the good Eagles show up. And the good Eagles rarely showed up this year. The relentless Eagles and the tough Eagles grinded these games out. That's why you have all these one-score ball games. Okay? Hey, that's an asset. Hey, we grinded a win out. Okay, that's great. That's kind of an identity as well. Grinding wins out. Margin of error is so low, right? So, I mean, if Nick and KP are smart, then Hurts's legs, empty set spread, and under center runs should be their style of play throughout the playoffs, and don't let up. I think up-tempo needs to be a little more. I think the best Philadelphia Eagle offense is up-tempo. When they go up-tempo, Hurts is more in rhythm. You know why? The offensive sideline can't get involved that much because it's more in Hurts' hand when you go up-tempo. It's funny, every time you put the game in the kid's hands, the kid excels. When you take it out of his hands, the coach is getting his way. I told you, I took a ton of bricks off of Jalen Hurts' back second half of Buffalo. I've been consistent since Buffalo's second half. I'm convinced that the sideline gets in his way. I'm just convinced of it. Listen, I'm not going to sit here and tell you he's a perfect guy. But at the end of the day, if he's not a perfect guy, don't get in his way at least. And they get in his way with the inconsistent play calling. Do you know why why do you think it excelled last year? I get it because of the run game and all that. I got it. Okay? Reports say that Harbaugh wants the Giants job. I think he probably sees Jackson Dart with a skill set like Lamar that can run. Joe Schoen, John Harbaugh, I don't know. They do not coach to Hurts' strengths. Haven't in 4 years. Last year, think of this. You had a great run game last year, correct? Okay. You had a great run game. No question. Great run game. But why did Kellen Moore get it done? Kellen Moore knew how to coach Jalen, even with Jalen's limitations, to win a Super Bowl. Kellen Moore didn't get in Jalen's way. And Jalen bought into what he was doing because the run game was so good. Kellen Moore changed his entire mentality of how to call games. He's not a run coordinator. He's a pass guy. But they changed it up, and Hurts went with it. And Hurts actually, in my opinion, a year ago, after the bye, he probably played some of his best football because they went on a tear. This year, when they had to rely on him, they stopped him and they hampered him. Hey, let me ask you this. Every single time that Hurts got something going, in the Rams game, in the Bucs game, in the Buffalo Bills game, all of a sudden the coordinator would shut the offense down. I don't believe the quarterback shut it down. I believe the coordinator shut it down. Okay? It's like they don't trust the kid. Or maybe they don't trust themselves. Seals, in my opinion, with the Niners depleted on D, and Huff being their best lineman, Milan and Barkley should have a field day, run stretch plays. Where have you been and where will you always be exceptional in the offensive line? At your tackles. Why not run more stretch plays? Obviously, Landon and Cam and Steen are not what it was a year ago. Run them damn stretch plays. Okay? Nobody's playing possum, dude. You are what you are coming out of the NFL season. I mean, you just played 5 months of football. Nobody's playing possum. Now, Hurts might take off more. He might take off more. Get this. How many people believe this? Guaranteed the coaches trust the Super Bowl MVP. Okay? How many people believe this idiotic comment by how they called the plays this year? How many people believe this idiotic comment that they trust the MVP? How many people believe that? That Kevin Patullo and Nick Sirianni trusted the quarterback to where the offense was pathetic this year. Okay? Do you think Kevin Patullo, 2 games this season, a quarterback doesn't complete a pass? Style of play? Do you believe that? How many people believe that? Nobody believes that. I mean, still, San Francisco's weak at linebacker. So, wait a minute. San Francisco's weak at linebacker. So, the game plan is perfect for backdoor counters and Goddard over the middle. You're making it sound like you have a creative play caller. Jalen is a coach's player where he won't go against the scheme, but he should do it more Seems like the trust is gone for Patillo as it did with Saban. I'm not really putting this more on the kid. I'm putting this more on the coaching staff. They don't trust the guy. I mean, every time Jalen Hurts gets the ball in his hands, we're going to take a look at something here in a minute. Jalen Hurts has not had a four. Has Jalen played 4 quarters of football this year outside of Minnesota? Can you name me a game? Let's take a look at it. Can you name me one football game this year outside of Minnesota where he played 4 quarters of football? Let's see. Let's go down to teams. Let's go down to Eagles schedule. Tell me where he played 4 quarters of football. One game. One game. Not the Minnesota game. Name me one other game that he played 4 quarters of football. Second Giants game? Okay. So we got 2 games. Minnesota and Giants 2. Okay. Okay. 2, I'll give you that. I'll go there. Giants, 2 games. He played 4 quarters of football. He acts like we're the Browns. I'm not talking about the quarterback here, and I'm not saying you're – once again, kid, stop being so butthurt when things are being conversation about your football team heading into the playoffs. Stop being a baby. These are big boy conversations. If you can't take it, take your shit and get out of here. These are big boy conversations. Nobody's ripping anybody. It's a conversation. Okay? Ask you. I don't believe that's on Jalen 4 quarters. I believe that's on the coaches. Do you believe the coaches are going to open the offense up more in the playoffs? Or are they going to tighten it more? What do you think? Will they tighten more? Or will they let up and open it up more to allow the quarterback to win games, knowing full well that the running game is not where it was? You think they open it? Maybe more. I'll tell you what will open that offense more if they run the football more. There you go, Samuel. I'm with you. Samuel, I'm with you. Guys, please hit the like button. We appreciate all you in here. Thank you. Okay? Everything is on the table. Holy cow, 38 minutes in, he finally nailed one. Very rare for him. He's usually an ofer. This guy's usually like Bryce Harper in the opening of the season, 0 for 28. Yes, with quarterback runs, I happen to agree. This guy's the Bryce Harper of the Big Sill show here. 0 for 28 numerous times. He gets a home run, though, every now and then. And he's able to scratch himself. Congratulations to you, kid. Wasn't there a game when we thought that there was defensive deficiencies, but we didn't take advantage? Yeah, Chicago. Jessica, Chicago's not a good defense. Okay? They're not a good defense. And you never took advantage of it because why? Chicago ran the football down your throat. So think about that. 2 games this year that the offense was a 4-quarter offense with the quarterback. Again, this is not a Jalen Hurts rep. This is more on them over there on the sidelines. They are just so conservative. For a guy who used to go for everything on 4th down, all of a sudden now, this guy's lost his coconuts. These coaches need to take their tampons out and coach. It's a winning formula for him. Nick has found something. And especially in a league right now where you're not really seeing a lot of dominant teams. Dude, the Rams, it's funny. I think the Rams are a finesse team. You know what I think Carolina is? I think Carolina is a physical team. I do. I think they're a physical team, and I think that's why they beat them. I don't think the Rams can handle physical football teams. You see what Seattle did to him? Every time Seattle gets them on a field, they beat them up. Whether they lose or win, they beat them up. I don't think the Rams can handle physicality. That's why Carolina beats them. I don't know if they beat them this weekend, but Seattle's physical, Carolina's physical. They went up to Lambeau and beat the Packers up. Now, when you play against finesse teams and you're a physical team, always gives you the advantage. I'll take a physical team over a finesse team any day. I don't care who you are. And that's why Carolina's got a puncher's chance this weekend. They've already proven they beat them. I know. You know what's crazy about, fans? It's one thing when, every time I bring up the Chicago game, you know what people go? Oh, you're hanging on that Chicago game. Well, if this was a 7-game series and you guys had beaten the Bears in a 7-game series, 4 games to 3 or 4-1, that'd be one thing. But football's not a 7-game series, my friends. Football is a 1-game on-off. And it's a 1 game to itself, and it's a 1 game in a season. There's no 7-game series here. You show up, sometimes you don't show up. And you didn't show up that day. And you know what you hear in Philly? You hear people saying, well, this ain't baseball. This ain't basketball or hockey. You got to play 60 minutes of ball, and it determines your season now that you're in the second season. Yeah, well, that didn't count. Yeah, well, they all count. Okay? They all count. If you played 60 minutes of football, yeah, but we didn't put our best effort in. Well, that's on you. Hit the like button. We appreciate it. All right. Playoffs. I'm hearing everybody. I heard Big Z say it. I heard everybody in Philly say it. Jalen Hurts is going to have a big weekend against the 49ers. Okay. We're going to do a little diving into that. Okay? All right. I want to go over some of these with you. So, January 16th, 2022, Jalen Hurts, 23 of 43 against the Bucs, 53 percentage, 258, touchdown, and an interception. We'd probably, give that a D? Okay. Divisional round, 2023. New York Football Giants. Again, this is the 22 season, 23 playoffs. Against the New York Giants, 16-24 for 154 yards, 2 tutties. What do you think? C? Plus? What do you think? C plus in that? Says, why is it when I see Reuben Bain, he reminds me of Javon Curse? I see Reuben Bain, I see Will Anderson. Okay? What do you think, Philly? B minus? B minus? Let's see here. No, because everyone's talking about his playoffs, and we're going to, at the end here, how has he played in the playoffs? 16-24, 154 yards, 2 touchdowns. How do you think he played in that game? What would you give him as a grade for the 154? C? I'll go C plus. I'll be fair there. The NFC Championship game. 15-25 for 121 yards and no touchdowns. How do you think he played in that game? What do you think? 15-25 for 121 yards and no touchdowns. That was the NFC Championship game. How do you think he played in that game? Didn't turn the ball over. I'm not, I don't think when you win an NFC championship game, it's anywhere near D. No. You don't turn the ball over, you win the NFC championship, and you're the starting quarterback. You don't get D's. You don't get D's for that. Okay? You don't. So what? C plus? Let's go another C plus there. Okay? You don't get D's for winning a NFC championship game, even though you didn't do much in that ball game. And that was a Reddick ruin, right? That was the game Reddick destroyed people. All right. Super Bowl. February 12th, 2023, 27-38, 304 yards, a touchdown. How do you think he played in that ball game? How do you think he played in that game? How could he play A+ when he had a fumble in the game? I'm going to go here with you. I'm going to go A- only because of the fumble. I thought he was great in the game. I think an A- is great. Okay. So let's go back now and let's go to the next game. So we've got, in his first four, we've got D, C+, and A. Not bad. So let's go into the January 15th, 2024 wild card against the Bucs. He was 25 of 35 for 250 yards in the ball game against the Bucs, and I believe that's when they lost to the Bucs in that game. I think they scored what was it? I think they got beat up in that game by the Bucs down in Tampa. That was the game without A.J. Brown, if I'm not mistaken. Correct? So F. 25 to 35, 250 touchdown in that ball game. I thought it was a C-. Okay. We're looking at his playoffs, and what we're going to do is we're going to come up and that notion that he plays great in the playoffs, I want to put that to the test here. I don't think there's anything going over somebody's resume, is it? What you do when you're talking about a job. Okay. 2025 playoffs. 1/12/2025. Eagles versus the Green Bay Packers. 13-21 for 131 yards and 2 touchdowns. How do you think he played that game against Green Bay? 131 yards passing. Green Bay was a C, Crowley? Give him a C? C? Let's see here. 13-21, 61.9% in completion percentage. His lowest output outside of the San Francisco championship game, where he was 60%. Won the game, which matters. Okay. What do you think? C? I go C. So let's go divisional round. Los Angeles Rams. 15-20, 128 yards passing. No touchdowns. How do you think he played against the Rams? Everyone, is saying about big moments. How do you think he played? What would you say? What do you think? See? You win the game. That matters. 15 to 20 for 128 yards. What do you think? Sills, were these fans getting all this confidence from? Should have lost the Bills game, played 2 stiffs before, and before that, a 3-game losing streak. Pump. I think they're getting their confidence from the history of them being in the playoffs the last 5 years. That's where they're getting it from. You're not getting it from you're getting it from your defense. Again, what we do here is we talk in reality. We don't talk in wishful thinking. I would say this, that Hurts played in that Rams game, probably C. Now, the NFC Championship game, 20 of 28, 71.4 completion percentage, 246 and a touchdown. That's an A. The game, the setting, okay? Right? I'm going to make a point here in a minute. A. Okay? All right. The Super Bowl, 17 to 22 for 221, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. How do you think he played in that? It's the Super Bowl, too. So put that in context. Okay? Okay? I'm going by what the stats say here. I didn't say he had a touchdown against the Rams. Rams, he had no touchdowns. How do you think he played in the Super Bowl? A? Okay. So I'm going to show you this. NFC. They're pretty average games. In the divisional wildcard games. Where he's excelled is in the 1 NFC title game and the 2 Super Bowls. The rest of these games have been average. Okay? Now, average with not turning the ball over is key. How many sacks has he taken in the postseason? Let's see. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. He took 7 sacks in the Rams game. 2 and 2. So he's taken 22 sacks in 9 games. It's quite high. But like I said, NFC title game, he was 60% in 2023. The Super Bowl, he was exceptional. Probably his best game he's ever played is that 23 Super Bowl. It was better than the one he won this past February, in my opinion. The rest of these games are average. But you can't just dismiss that he's not played well in the biggest games. Like, you get him in the biggest games, like the NFC title games and the Super Bowls, he's excelled. Okay? He's excelled. Hurts is the best quarterback in the playoffs right now. Okay? Again, I guys, don't get mad at what I just pointed out on what he did, what he's done. That's his resume. It's not an opinion. I thought I was pretty fair here. We all went down the list and we did it together. Okay? I mean, we went down the list and did it together here. What are you talking about? I'm not making I'm in agreement with you guys with some of the grades that he had in the other games. It's not ripping anybody. I'll tell you what, if you go down Lamar Jackson's list of playoff games, there's F's on that list. If you go down Josh Allen or any of these other guys, there's F's on that list. Do you know how hard it is to win in the playoffs and play well? You think a C+ grade is bad in the playoffs? Hey, man, you don't get the NFL playoffs on how more difficult it is to win. I'm going to show you something. And I'm going to show you something here on a guy. And I'm going to bring up a point to you on something here. Okay? They loosen the handcuffs in each round. Let's see here. There you go. So, I want to show you this. Here's Montana in the divisional rounds. 21-31, 304, and 2 tutties. But I also want to go here. Here's Montana in Super Bowls. 14-22 for 163 yards in the touchdown. Here's Montana in an NFC Championship game. 30-48 for 350 yards and 3 touchdowns. Here's Montana, another NFC title game. 17-27 for 328 yards, 3 touchdowns, and no picks. Here's him in a Super Bowl. 23-36 for 363 yards and 4 touchdowns. No picks. The guys that play in those big games like Jalen does, okay? I bet you wouldn't leave out Allen's rushing stats. Yeah, I would, because that's not where I'm talking about here. Try to stay along, kid. Jalen Hurts sucks. You guys, that's not the record of a guy who sucks in the post. You're completely missing the point. I'm talking about guys playing in big moments. Guys, why are you mad when we went over what he did? Why are you upset? I'm not ripping anybody here. You didn't like what I here. NFC Wildcard game in 2022. He was 23 of 43, 53 completion percentage with a touchdown and a pick. It was a D game. In the divisional round the following year against the Giants, he was 16-24 for 154 yards and 2 touchdowns. Okay? That's a C game. The NFC title game is 15-25 for 120 yards. No touchdowns. I don't know. C+, they won the game. It's an NFC title game. I gave him kudos for that. Super Bowl, 27-38. I gave him an A- only because of the fumble. What are you moaning about? In 24, the NFC wild card against the Bucks, they were killed. It was a C- ball game. They got murdered. They didn't even put any points up on the board. Barely. The following year, Green Bay, 13-21 for 130 yards, 2 TDs. We gave him a C. All of us did. The Ram game, 15-20, 120 yards, 128 yards, no touchdowns. NFC title game, great game, 20-28, 246, a TD, excellent ball game. I gave him an A. Super Bowl, I gave him an A for that. I'm not sure what you're talking about. Why are you upset? I mean, rest of those games are pretty like average ball games. So when Jalen shows up in those NFC title games. I haven't seen a divisional game or a wild card game that says anything different. And if you're saying that he's going to show up on Sunday, in 9 ball games, there's been no example of that. and especially coming out of this year. So you're assuming that all of a sudden he's going to do something he's never done in the playoffs before. Is he capable? Absolutely. That's right. Okay. So let's do this. D, C plus, C plus, A minus, C minus, C, C, A, A. What would you give Jalen Hurts as a playoff performer? Individual playoff performer. What would you give him a grade of? You can't do his resume without using rushing yards. I'm going to use his play in the pocket. His play in the pocket. Okay, how many rushing yards has he had in the postseason? Let's put that up there. Again, let's go here first, and then we'll get the rushing yards, and we'll add that. What would you give him? A B because he's dual threat. Hurts playoffs, B plus. Playoff grade, B. Okay? Let's see here. Bro, he did it on I gave him massive grades for that. I didn't absolutely. I ain't worried about a wild card. You hear this guy? I'm not worried about a wild card game. Okay. So then you're not worried about the Niners on Sunday, right? Intern Sirianni? He could play average in that game and they'll win. Okay. All right. A B because he comes up in the big Super Bowl moments. Each additional playoff game matters more. Completely agreed. Okay. We can't do a simple conversation without somebody getting their panties in a bind. It's crazy. It's like we're talking about your girlfriend or your wife or your kid. It's nutty. And it's actually weird. I mean, it's weird. Not worried about wild card game. Which one of the worst offenses? Yeah, but you got a big time game player here, Show. Hurts did whatever he needed to do for the team to win. Well, I mean, okay. Well, he didn't do much in those other games. As a matter of fact, he's never won a world playoff game in his entire career. You underestimate playoff Jalen. Dude is different in the playoffs. Well, I mean, we just went over the playoff games. I mean, okay. That's how you see it. You're the one who has the weird infatuation. Bro, if you don't think everyone in San Francisco right now is talking about Brock Purdy or Aaron Rodgers in Pittsburgh, or you have no idea the team is going to win on Sunday based on the quarterback's play, isn't that what you tell me? What do you want to talk about? A fucking kicker? What do you want to sit here and talk about? An offensive line that's been banged up all year? If you're going to win the Super Bowl, Hurts is going to have to do what Xander says. He's going to have to be exceptional on Sunday because you've been unexceptional this year on offense. The last couple of years, you've been able to get away with C efforts. You can't have that this Sunday because a C effort with a C running game will get you beat. He is going to have to play great in a game that he traditionally hasn't played great in, the opening rounds of the playoffs. He's going to have to do something in this opening round against the Niners. Barkley's done nothing. Okay? Nothing. And to sit there and think all of a sudden you're just going to flip the switch, Jalen's going to have to play great Sunday. I would give him an overall playoff grade? I think he's got a B playoff record. I think, or performance. He's got an exceptional playoff record. As a player, I think he's got a really great B record. As a performer in the playoffs, especially when you're talking the games like the Super Bowls and the one NFC title game. The other NFC title game, he was a non-factor in because that was a defensive effort. They just destroyed the Niners in that NFC title game. The defense was exceptional. That's pretty much right. Jalen Hurts is about a 150-yard game quarterback. Yeah, and lately he's been not really running. Maybe that, and I do agree. Okay. Now here, Guy, I'm not going to debate any of that shit with you anymore. Not happening. We're talking about the quarterback and his postseason play and how he's played in the postseason. Because I heard everybody in Philly telling me how great his performances were. So we went down and looked at them all. That's all. Anything wrong with that? Can't depend on the run. Hurts is going to have to throw the ball a lot. So you think that offensive coordinating staff, who hasn't thrown the ball a lot, as a matter of fact, let's take a look at something here. Let's see here. Has he improved in one number heading into this, heading into the playoffs? Let's see here. Jalen Hurts so far has taken 32 sacks. That's 12th in the NFL. Guys who have taken less are Rodgers, Darnold, Caleb Williams. Stafford's only taken 20. Nix has taken 22. Wow, Spencer Rattler. Well, he only played 9 games. So, I mean, I think he's improved a little bit. I think heading into the playoffs a year ago, I think he was in the 40s. Okay? I think he was in the 40s. Okay? Hurts going to run. No sacks, watch. Okay? 49ers don't have any linebackers. All right? Hey, Verbal, do me a favor. I want you to remember you're saying all these things about the 49er defense. I happen to agree with you. The 49ers have nothing on defense. No excuses, right? Okay. There's no excuses. Do you agree, guys? There is no excuses for a bad performance against the 49ers and that defense. If you listen to John, John's telling you they have nothing. So you should expect a 300-yard performance. 220 from Jalen. 100-something yards rushing from Barkley, correct? They don't really have anything over there. No excuses, right? Okay. You know, the Chicago Bears were like 28th in defense. Here, let me double check that. Want to be fair. See something here. By the way, I'm not ripping anybody here. Let's see what the Bears are. Okay, let me ask you something. So the Chicago Bears are 29th in defense. You didn't take advantage of that defense. What happened? Let's see what the 49ers are. 49ers are in total D. They're 20th. Giants are 28th in defense. They beat you. Let's see. Any other team? No. Bears don't have a good defense at all. 49ers actually have a better defense than the Chicago Bears. Do you know that? Heading into this football game, Heading into this football game, the 49ers have a better D than the Bears. Now, they don't have the running attack that Chicago has, but they throw the ball around the yard. They're like fifth in offense heading into this game against you. So they're kind of a little bit like the Chicago Bears, except that the Bears run the ball and San Francisco throws the ball. They're not very great on defense, but they've got skilled weapons on offense. And the one thing that favors San Francisco in this game is that you don't take advantage of shitty defenses. Maybe that, hey, listen to my words. Maybe that changes. But that hasn't been what you did all year. Now, here's the conversation that people are having now. I would say that 7 out of 10 Eagle fans that I talk to are dismissing the 2025 regular season and what they saw this year, except when it came to the positives on defense. The stuff on offense, you've completely dismissed. Okay? You've dismissed it. And you're looking going into the playoffs going, we're going to take advantage of that. It's like when I hear John talking to Xander in the morning, John's going, we're going to be able to do this. We're going to be able to. Oh, where's the sample of that? Yeah, it's a new season. Come on, Dan. Don't you know that? Oh, I do. Vikings 3rd, Raiders 14th, Rams 17th, Chiefs 10. Okay? 49ers coaching is good. 49ers have great coaching. Once Dean smacks McCaffrey, Carter Bush through the line, one-time ball game. Okay? Says, you got a score prediction for your Canes? 28-17 over Ole Miss. Taking care of those dudes. And by the way, it's a disgrace on what Lane Kiffin is doing. So let me ask you this. You got a coaching staff that spends 3 days with the kids getting ready for the Miami game tomorrow night. Then they got to go back and spend 2 days with the portal kids at LSU. And they're not focused on getting ready for the Miami game on Thursday night. I mean, I don't know what comes up with these guardrails here and how you coach kids. But the number one thing is you never want to let your players down. And those coaches are letting your players down by doing that. What a disgrace. Either you're in or you're not. How can you coach kids half the time? It's a shitty way of coaching people. I mean, they're not all in on Ole Miss. They're all in on LSU. Over under for McCaffrey scrimmage yards. 120, somewhere in there. Okay. I think they're going to do a great job on him. Somewhere like 60-60. I don't know if that's going to be enough. I think San Francisco is going to put points on the board, and I think San Francisco is going to move the ball. But I think they're going to struggle in the red zone. I do. Seals, how much of an advantage can Saleh give to his defense when it comes to figuring out our predictable offense, even with the talent on our side? Well, I think a lot of people, I think Dennis Allen figured you out as well. I think Dennis Allen figured you out. I think the Giants did a good job against you guys. Denver figured you out. I thought Buffalo played well. I thought actually Green Bay's defense and the Lions' defense played well. It's not that hard to figure you out. You're going to throw to 2 dudes and maybe a third. There's only 3 guys in your pass game, and sometimes Barkley, maybe. Depends if he has to stay in for max protection. That's what you want to do in this ball game, too. If I'm Robert Saleh, I don't want Barkley leaking out, because Barkley this year has hurt teams leaking out of the backfield and going down the perimeter of the sidelines. Make him stay in and max protect, because he's not a very good blocker this year when it comes to protection. So if I'm him, I'm going to bring some pressure to keep him in, keep max protection, so he doesn't leak out into the flats. That's one play that's worked pretty good. How many times have we seen him leaking out of the backfield, catching and getting the offensive under game going? And I mean the under game, I mean the short passing game going, when he starts making those plays, especially when he's out there in the perimeter. So for me, again, I want to make him have to block. Make him have to stay in and max protect. They run a lot of two-back set too, San Francisco. That's something to keep an eye on. They got two pretty decent backs. And because of the limitations on the Y and Z, heading into this football game, I think you're going to see a lot under center and a lot of two-back. So I think Purdy performs better when he's under center and not in shotgun. And that gives the offense an advantage. Anytime you start with your quarterback under center, the offense has immediately the advantage instead of being in shotgun. Why? The chances of you, when you go no back, you're throwing the ball. Or unless he's running a design run, you're telling the defense what to do. Every single time that you see a guy in shotgun with no backs, the safeties are backing up, not forward, because they're trying to hit him either over the top or you're trying to hit him underneath. So the safeties are going to back with no backs. Backs, you go and you cheat up, because most likely you're going to run. Now, the good quarterbacks and the good coordinators with two-back sets and a tight end like Kittle and McCaffrey leaking out of the backfield, that's where they catch teams, because McCaffrey is the oddball in that whole passing game. You don't know where he's going to line up. You don't know where he's going to get open. And he's got an innate ability in that zone to find the open space. And Purdy sees it and can see it. He finds them and he knows routes. Every single thing that Kyle Shanahan runs, every player that runs in an offense has a purpose on getting the guy open that the primary target is. That's why that's a complex offense to run. Okay? I know I got to get my wife's board up. I promise you. I'll bring it up and I'll point this stuff out. Again, I've been schooled by Buddy Ryan, by Butch, by Wannstedt, by Lamar Leachman. I've been in rooms with like some of the greatest defensive minds of all time. Bud Carson. You know, you get a chance to be around Buddy and you see how Buddy dissects the defense. He's a savant at it. Can't wait until the Eagles prove you wrong again. What did I say? Anybody hear me say you're losing Sunday? I'm not sure what the hell you're talking about, kid. Who said I said you're losing Sunday? Jesus, criminy. Get your shit together. Bunch of stiffs are in here to route the birds to lose. Will be very miserable this season. Again. Who's rooting to lose this week? Once again, you're making shit up. I think Saleh will focus more on Hurts' running than Barkley. That's what Wink Martindale said. Hey, Show, remember what he said? When Hurts runs, that's a weapon. Okay? That's a weapon. Make Hurts beat you. It's not rocket science. Yes. No. Tell you what. No, I don't know about that anymore. Because Jalen can beat you. Barkley can't anymore. Barkley can't beat you. Last year, Barkley beat you. Steve Spagnuolo went after Barkley, not Hurts. This year, I think it's Hurts. Barkley can't beat you. Okay? He can't. He's had a down year. Not Sunday, Sills. You said we won't win the Super Bowl this year. You said it in the next 5. Yeah, I don't believe we're winning the Super Bowl this year. Make Barkley beat you, and you'll beat the Eagles. So you'll stop the run, stop passes outside the numbers, and won't worry about the middle of the field if you're playing the Eagles. No, you don't really have to threaten the middle of the field. If Indiana and Miami prevail, who has the coaching advantage? Kurt Cignetti. And I love Mario. Sorry. Cignetti. And as a matter of fact, it'll be Indiana's national title to lose. Giants interviewing Mike McCarthy. What the fuck? No wonder the Eagles dominate the division. You think Mike McCarthy's a bad coach? I don't. I think Mike McCarthy's a pretty decent coach. Great? I don't know. He's got as many Super Bowl wins as your boy. I mean, he's won a Super Bowl. He's been to NFC Championship games. Guy developed Aaron Rodgers. I don't know. Terrible theory. Nobody wants Barkley to beat him. Barkley can't beat you. You said San Francisco like the past. You said San Francisco like the past. The football, Philly don't give up a lot of yards in the passing game. Yes, I don't believe they're going to be able to put enough passing yards and points up on the board to beat you. Yes, I think they're going to put yards up, and I think they're going to put points up, but I don't think they're going to put enough up. I just don't. She goes, who you got number 1 in the draft? It's probably going to be the quarterback, Fernando Mendoza, but the best player in the draft, Ruben Bain. Okay? Giants going to hire John Harbaugh. Well, the Giants better stand in line, and you better pay $20 million if you're going to pay, because he is in high demand now. He's going to make more than Andy Reid. Imagine that. Even Tony Dungy came out and said it. You fired that guy? This is a Lamar Jackson problem. It's not a John Harbaugh problem. He's going to go somewhere else and become the first coach to win Super Bowls in multiple places. You watch. He's going to be the first guy to do that. Oh, I'll have to look at that. Promise you, brother, I'll look at that. Why would he go there and work for the Bidwells? He just comes off of working for the Baltimore Ravens. You're going to go for the Ravens to the Bidwells? Why? When I can pick my job. John Harbaugh's going to be able to pick his job. Ruben Bain reminds me a lot of Will Anderson. I think they look exactly alike. I think he's better than Abdul Carter. He's 6'4". He's 270 pounds. That's the same size as Myles Garrett. I mean, and he's a young kid. He's the best player in the draft. I told you that throughout the entire year. Nobody's better than Bain. The guy dominates everybody he plays against. And he dominated Ohio State. He is the best edge rusher. Okay? The best edge rusher in the draft. There's no question about it. So Sirianni spoke. What do you think of Arvil Reese? I'll have to look at him. Sills, Vic versus Shanahan. This is going to be a world-class chess match. What will be the deciding factor for these two philosophies going head-to-head? I think they've gone at each other 4 times, if I'm not mistaken. I think they've gone at each other, and I can't remember the last time. I think Shanahan scored 1 touchdown in those 4 outings, I think. It's going to be moving Purdy around and disguising your defenses on Purdy. Purdy's pretty wicked back there reading defenses. He's excellent at it. Okay, and he never drops his head. You watch Jalen. When Jalen starts to break the pocket, he's not looking really to run down the field, and he's not looking downfield. You watch Purdy. Purdy's not just going to throw sideline passes. He's going to come back across the middle of the field because he sees the field and he's got a better peripheral vision on seeing the entire field because he's been schooled that way. Hurts has never been schooled on being a progression reader. So you could see the difference in schooling and teaching processes and skill set by just the way they're looking downfield. A lot of guys Baker Mayfield ducks his head. As soon as it's not open, Mayfield has a propensity to drop his head. And when you drop your head, where are you going to know where to throw the ball? And the only way you're going to throw the ball is where? You're going to throw the ball sideline to sideline. You're not going to come across the middle of the field. Shanahan versus Vic. The key in this game for Shanahan versus Vic's defense, you got to see if somehow you can get a running game going. You've got to get a running game out of not out of shotgun, out of quarterback under center. And you've got to get a running game. The teams that have got running games going. Let me go. Hey, Kyle, do me a favor. What was the run total in that Denver game earlier in the year? So I'm just not hanging on the Chicago game. What was the number on the rushing that Denver had in that ball game? I'm sure they went over 100 yards in that game. I think they did. The teams that have been able, he's 270. Yeah, I thought 270, 275. Trent Williams and Ricky Pearsall not practicing. It's Wednesday. Not good for San Fran. Wire him down for Barkley, Tank. See here. Yeah, that's not good for San Fran. I got a feeling Trent is going to be out. There's conversation that Lane may be out. Kyle, they had 139 yards rushing, 130 yards. That's not crazy great, but that's enough. And that's what gave Bo Nix enough to be able to do play action in that ball game. They were physical on defense, Denver, in that ball game. Bain is nothing like Clowney. Thank you. He's been out all year. KP is a blood. Listen, Kevin Patullo and the way the coach is called, it's irrelevant now. It's completely irrelevant. The conversation on him sucking or not is a dumb one. It's January 6th. It's Wednesday of Wildcard week. What are you debating? The coordinator sucks? Jesus criminy. We've done that for 5 months. Okay, that's great to hear. They're a different team when he's out there. Thank you, bro. Appreciate it. I hope Lane is out. I don't. I want Lane playing. Best on best. Let's get it going here. Great. I'll tell you, if you're the 49ers, you just basically, again, if you're like, it's like a free agent being added to your football team when you haven't had them for such a long period of time. It's like getting Jalen Phillips. All of a sudden, there he is. I mean, no disrespect to Fred. Fred is what he is. There's backups, there's second team guys, there's third team guys, there's special teams guys, and there's frontline starters, and then there's Hall of Famers. There's just different dudes. Lane's a different dude. Seals, how much does a quarterback coach, does a quarterback coach have with offensive concepts? The quarterback coach is probably got more communication with the quarterback than the offensive coordinator does. Oh, remember, the offensive coordinator has to meet with the O-line and the run game coordinators. Then they have to meet with the wide receivers. Then they have to meet with the head coach. I'm not saying the quarterback's not in the room for all that, but he's got to kind of go around the room. The quarterback coach is with him 24/7. It's kind of like his private chauffeur. And he's with him. What are you thinking? And he's constantly watching technique, footwork, pocket presence, holding the ball, reminding him of like where you look for your landmarks, reminding him of certain plays. What plays do you like? Go back and tell the coordinator. The quarterback is really good on these plays. I think Drew Kendall was an upgrade last week. I didn't have a problem. I went back and watched him. I thought he played really well. Seals, with Lane back, do you expect the 6 offensive lineman run scheme to come back? Put the Fred package? Yeah. Short yardage? You know, they're coming up with that package now. Why? Because that tush push is starting to fail a little more. Seals, how many points do you think we need to win this game? Great question. 27? Like, I don't see San Francisco putting 30 on you. I mean, I don't see San Francisco putting 30 on Seattle. I just don't. I think Seattle has a really good defense too. Okay, so I don't see a lot of points being put up here. No team that wins the bowl should come back with an OC has zero experience. Boneheaded move again here, Brian. You're damn right. No question about it. Absolutely right. But it's January 7th and we're here on Wednesday, heading into Wildcard week. That conversation is like Groundhog Day right now here. Absolutely true. I'm not ripping you. You're not wrong. You don't hire somebody that's never done anything. I mean, does Kevin Patullo have potential to be an offensive coordinator? I don't want to hear those conversations. Potential means you haven't done it. Okay? So why don't the owners sit down with around 20 of us fans and ask them what the team needs, why owners don't do that? Why would they? They pay guys millions and millions of dollars every single year to evaluate the offense and to evaluate schemes. Like this week, Todd Bowles is meeting with the owners and with the general manager, and they got to face the music. You know what they got to face the music of? An absolutely underachieving offense, a roster that was not set for success, and a general manager that spent no money when it came to really trying to improve the football team. And you got to explain that to the Glazers. Okay? I don't know anybody who ever does that shit, who sits down and has fans. Now, look, I'm not saying that they don't hear the noise. They hear the noise. This will be something to think about. Your special teams, absolutely true. I know just Yeah, you're going to have to get over that. Dude, it's January 7th. It's wild card weekend. Talking about Kevin Petullo blowing or not is irrelevant. You're going into the game with what you got here. This is it. Enough of that shit. I mean, really? All right. Guys, I will tell you, that was really great news a couple minutes ago, and we're going to get a confirmation on that if Lane Johnson is indeed going to play this weekend, because if he is, that football team's a completely different. That's a different football team. By the way, Battle Royale will join us at 4:30. One of my favorite segments. We'll get more of a year-ender on the Cowboys, and we'll talk to Mark Holmes and Philly 500, but let's bring in our friend here, man. Without further ado, from the morning show, our friend Big Z, Xander Kraus, joins.
What's up, Sills? How you doing, brother?
So, Lane, is he playing?
Looks like he's going to play. He was out of practice today. Baldy put out again this morning. He's going to play. I think Lane Johnson will be out there for this Sunday's game versus the 49ers. Playoff game number 1. It's a big one, man. Got to get Lane out there. He's a big impact. Now, I think the question on Lane is less will he play and more what Lane Johnson are you getting? But I'll tell you what, a freaking 50% Lane Johnson is an improvement. And I think you're going to get more than that. He's a warrior and a fighter and a tough dude. So I think that's a big news for the Birds, getting Lane Johnson back.
It's more about him finishing, right, than it is him starting.
Yeah, I mean, and it's also just what level of health is he at? I mean, that injury he got it's not an easy injury. Now, it wasn't
No.
He didn't get it to the point where it needed a full recovery, things like that, but it is a tough injury. So the question is, how effective is he out there? And, but I'm happy to get Lane back, man. He's the anchor of this team. He's the one left, Sills. I know Brandon Graham came back, but he's like the one left, man, of the iconic Eagle. Not that the new guys aren't awesome.
Guys and all
yeah,
that.
But they haven't gotten to that level yet. I mean, it's rare you see a guy get drafted and then finish his career, in Philadelphia. Lane will finish his career in Philadelphia.
Oh, yes. And more than anything, because of that, now he's piling up Super Bowl appearances. He's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. There's no doubt about it here.
Oh, yeah. He should be to me, he should be a shoo-in for a first ballot.
He's one of the Mount Rushmores of Eagle players in history, you think?
Yeah, I think so. There's been a lot of great offensive linemen.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, you got some really good offensive linemen, but he's up there. There's no doubt.
So Nick Sirianni said something. I want to get your opinion on it. He said that the offense had an identity. I'd like to know what you would call the identity. What do you think the offense of the Philadelphia Eagles offense is in 2025?
Tough start. You give me a tough question to start here. The offensive identity is, to me, it's been flailing kind of this year. I don't think they've been able to, perhaps they have an identity and maybe they haven't been as successful with their identity as they like, because I think they do still play, to me, their identity is simplify, don't turn the football over and don't lose the game. That's kind of what they do. And look, it doesn't look good.
You know how talented you have to be to do that? Let me be simple and just beat you.
Well, hasn't it worked?
It has.
This is where I wonder, do we got to give Nick more credit? Everybody's telling Nick to go this way, be this thing on offense, try this, be the offensive mind. And Nick is just like, nah, I just don't want to turn the football over on offense, play great defense, be able to run the football, and I'm good with that. Now, running the football is what they've struggled with this year, but that's the part of their identity that they're missing. It's not the passing game. I mean, the passing game wasn't really there. It was there lesser than it has been this year. So the missing part is the running game. Jalen outside of the one game, versus the Chargers has been excellent in ball security. I mean, I think he only had 2 picks outside of that Chargers game. That's their identity. Don't turn the football over, protect the ball, and play smart football, get to the next drive or the next play.
I'm going to ask you about a coaching staff here. And this is kind of slightly off topic a little bit, but I want to bring it back then to preparing for this weekend against San Francisco and the kind of coaches that you're going to be going against. Do you think Bill Belichick had a great coaching tree when he was in New England?
Well, it never really panned out, did it? But I don't know. Educate me? Am I missing some people? I mean,
well, here, Matt Patricia,
the OC now,
Brian Flores. You had Romeo Cornell. You had Bill O'Brien. You had Josh McDaniel.
Right. That's what I was thinking.
Okay. You had all those guys who failed as a head coach in the NFL, correct?
Yeah.
I think Bill Belichick had the greatest coaching staff of all time, and I'll tell you why. He wasn't hiring people to become head coaches in the NFL. He was hiring the perfect assistant coaches for his coaching staff to develop and to coach certain position groups that he needed guys to coach. It's not his responsibility whether or not to develop you to become a head coach. Your responsibility is to develop his players and to coach his players. So just because they didn't go on to become head football coaches, they were here because they were helping grow your offense or your defense. Have they done that here in Philly on offense? Have they grown the offense and grown the players? And have they, again, getting a coaching job, in my opinion, is irrelevant compared to whether or not you're coaching the players at hand that you hear with.
Yeah, I agree.
And you're asked to coach. I don't care whether you're the next head coach of the Bears.
Yeah, that's personal goals for every individual man, right?
That doesn't impact. I don't care about that.
Yeah, well, I agree. I mean, and you could make an argument. No, they haven't. I mean, that's the one thing with Patullo. Like, I don't know this to be for sure. So I'm just speculating on it. But is it like a Nick Sirianni buddy thing? Like, is it his buddy and he's like, hey, I got an opportunity. I'm going to help everybody likes to help people in their life that they care about. Is he trying to lift up Patullo and maybe he's not worthy of the job?
Well, I'll give you an example here. When I get on Nick Sirianni's ass, you know who I get text messages from and I get my ass kicked from? Frank Wright. Hey, that's my guy.
I know that.
I showed it to you. I get my ass kicked on that because he's like, Frank, that's my guy. He's not no, he wasn't happy with me on that. He goes, so to your point, yes, you see it right there, right? I want to play something with you here. I want you to do me a favor. And I want you to go over these games with me. And at the end of this little small exercise here, I want you to tell me what you make your postseason quarterback. Okay?
Okay.
You cool? All right. His first playoff game, 23 of 43, 258, 1 touchdowns, and 2 picks against the Buccaneers. Again, not being critical of anything here. This guy's 6-3 in the postseason. I'm just asking you, what would you give that grade for that game?
Well, that's first playoff game ever, going up against Tom Brady. Bad roster, bad receivers.
And goals.
Yeah, bad roster, bad receivers, young quarterback, no experience. I mean, if you're going to make me grade that game, it was obviously.
Well, I'm going to do the good ones too, Xander, not just the bad ones.
Yeah, but my point is, like, my expectation in playoffs are different. When I graded it in a full body of work, it's much different. But
that's what we're doing.
That individual game was not great for Jalen.
We're going to do the whole body of work.
Yeah, that wasn't his best game. No, he did not play well in that game.
Hey, what would you say? A D plus?
No, C, maybe even less.
Okay.
C.
You go C. Okay. Following year, in the divisional round in the 23 playoffs, 18 of 24, 154, and 2 touchdowns. What would you say for that game? That was against the New York Giants.
Good.
Okay.
Good.
Give me a grade.
Yeah, good.
Give me a grade.
B plus.
B plus.
B. Go B. I mean, it wasn't obviously wasn't like a huge statistical performance, but
I'm not ripping anybody here. I'm just going over his resume. B. The NFC Championship game, 15 to 25, 120 yards and no touchdowns.
Was that the NFC Championship game that year?
Yeah.
In 22? Or I guess it was 23 because it was the 22 season.
Yep. 60% completion percentage in that game.
Wow, I didn't realize that that was. Yeah, that's pretty low. I mean, I guess that was the versus San Francisco.
Yeah,
when we
that's the game
dominated.
Reddick destroyed everybody in that game.
So they didn't really have a quarterback. C+.
Okay, C+. The Super Bowl, 27 of 38, 304, a touchdown, no picks, and of course the fumble in the game.
Yeah, the famous fumble.
The famous fumble.
Famous fumble's got a factor. An unfortunate play. The ball scooted out. I mean, not like wasn't aware or anything type of thing. Kind of a fluke fumble. But, man, that was one of the best games I've literally ever seen Jalen Hurts play in my life when it comes to throwing the football. I'll give him an A for that performance.
A. I gave him an A- just because of the fumble.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I wasn't going minuses. I was going to give him an A+, but the fumble, we got to go A.
Okay. The NFC Wildcard, or the NFC Wildcard game, 115-04, or 24. 25 of 35. For 250 and a touchdown. That's the game they got blown out in.
Yeah, Jalen wasn't as bad in that game.
I know. I'm looking at this game. I thought he was bad in that game.
Well, remember, that was the year the defense couldn't do shit. Now, he had the one play from that game that most people will remember is he fumbled it into the end zone, and then it was like a safety or something like that. That was obviously a bad moment. C.
Okay.
Maybe even like a C+.
I went C+ for that. I went C+.
With that.
Okay. So the next ball game, we go into the following year. It's the 112 wild card game against Green Bay. 13 of 21 for 130 yards and 2 touchdowns. What do you make of that?
And not a great game for Jalen Hurts. Is that the game he took a lot of sacks too? No, that was the Ram.
That was the Ram game.
Yeah, that was the Ram game. Not the best game for Jalen Hurts, but also, just enough. I mean, rated out pretty high, but I'll go B. They won the ball game. Not his best performance, but you had a lot of yards from Barkley, I believe, in that game.
You did.
Yeah.
Here's the following game, the divisional game against the Rams. That's the game he took 7 sacks, 15 of 20, 128 yards.
Yeah.
No touchdowns.
Struggled immensely in that game passing the football, but look, made some plays, had the opening run, the 51 or 50, whatever it was, yard run for the touchdown. And they managed to win the football game. I'll give them a C+ in that game.
Okay. The NFC Championship game, 20 of 28, 71.4% completion percentage, 246 and a touchdown. How do you think he played in that game?
NFC Championship game last year was pretty damn good. I mean, one of his better playoff games, I'd say.
I think it was better than the Super Bowl.
I don't know. He made some big throws in that Super Bowl, man.
Well, 20 of 28 is pretty damn impressive in an NFC
title game. What was he in the Super Bowl, though? 15 of 22 or something? 17?
Okay. All right.
I give him for that game. I'll give him an A or an A-. I'm good with, or B+. Somewhere in that range.
I gave him an A.
Yeah, that's an A.
Super Bowl, 17 to 22, 220 yards and 2 touchdowns and a pick.
Yeah, he had that tough pick, but outside that pick, man, Dart damn near perfect throwing the football. A.
Okay. So
a lot of help from his defense, but that's not what we're talking about.
No, that's not. I'm talking about his performances in playoffs.
Yeah.
Okay. So he's got 3 A's. He's got 5 C's and a C+ and 2 B's. What would you give him as an overall grade as a playoff performer? Because, again, the 2 games that he really excelled in was the NFC Championship game of a year ago and really the 2 Super Bowls. Those were the 2 games. The rest of them, I would say, I think they were pretty good. Like, he's not shown me in any wild card game that he's played exceptionally well in. Yeah, now, again, each year has context to it because now this year you've got to rely on something. And to your point saying that he's got to do something Sunday, bro, I think he's got to have not maybe one of those A games,
Yeah, I think he's
But
got
I
to play
think
good.
he's got to have one of those B games to win this football game.
I think it's
on
got to be
Sunday.
even better than that. I'm basically relying on Jalen Hurts to bail Kevin Patullo out, to make
Yeah.
plays in this game, to run the football, pick up yards, pick up first downs, do whatever it takes. I'm looking for vintage Jalen, and I think you're going to get it. I feel pretty comfortable about that. But are you asking me now to grade the full playoff pick?
But over the whole overall,
So I'm going to shock some people here, and the reason I'm going to say this, and I'll explain. I'm going to give him an A+. And I know it doesn't add up. It doesn't add up. If you add up his individual performances, that's not what it is. But let's take into account that no quarterback, no matter who you are or how good you are or how good your team is going to win every year. No one. Tom Brady won the most of anybody, and he lost more than he won the final game. Jalen, in 5 years, 4 playoff years, is 2 Super Bowls, 2 NFC championships, a Super Bowl win, and 5 straight playoffs now with this year. I know it hasn't all been individually perfect, but if you told me at the start of Jalen Hurts' career, this is what your next 5 years look like, or you can pick an alternative, I would have slammed the button to take that outcome every single time. I wouldn't have even hesitated. I don't even give a shit what the numbers are. Now, I think the quarterback has a big part of that. Knowing how to win games is important to me. I think quarterbacks out there who are great with stats, sometimes they push the ball too hard and you cost a turnover, you cost the moment. I think Jalen sees his way around a game exceptionally well. He's still pretty young. I mean, I know he's kind of a veteran player now, but Tom Brady, didn't win his first few Super Bowls on his back alone. He's had great help. I'm not discounting that. And I'm not saying he's been perfect. But all in all, to be 6-3 in the postseason at 27 years old, with 4 years of starting under your belt, I think it's just exceptional. I really do. I think it's my favorite part about Jalen. I mean, you get to the playoffs and, I have confidence. Doesn't mean he was been great in every game, but, I think all in all, pretty freaking good, man. 6-3 in the postseason. I mean, he's got more playoff wins than Matthew Stafford. Now, I know Matthew played in Detroit, but that's crazy to me.
So you don't see it like this, that in the big games, he plays the biggest, and in the rest of the games, he's kind of does what, the other games that he plays, you can't dismiss the wins. I'm not dismissing the wins. I'm talking more about personal performance here.
Yeah, I mean, but remember,
more of a testament on.
Isn't that kind of who Jalen is, though? Like, he's not a statistic guy. He's not. No. He's never been the quarterback that wows you. Holy shit, he threw for 450 and 4. That's never been Jalen. Jalen's worst moments have come when he breaks his mold of who he is, where he turns the football over a lot, or, like the Charger game this year, or, those are the moments, and he avoids those for the most part in the biggest moments. So, he's a tough look. He's always going to be a tougher quarterback to gauge because of that, because of the reality of the way he plays the position. But what's happening to me is I'm putting more and more of a stock in less about caring about what it looks like, because when it's pretty, people like it, and more about, did the quarterback do what it took to win that game for his team? A quarterback's not always going to win the game for you, but a quarterback can lose a game for you. And I don't think Jalen does that very often. So I get it. It's a tough one to gauge, here overall, but I think all in all, it's been a pretty impressive run. Look, I got tremendous confidence. I think he's going to fucking ball out on Sunday. If he doesn't, whatever, I'll be up here to say I'm wrong. But I think he's going to ball. I think he's going to be maybe one of the biggest reasons we win on offense this weekend.
And you're basing that against the 49ers defense, because you think that the 49er defense is not very good. Is that correct?
They're not very good. I mean, they have no linebackers, not great secondary. Look, you got to take advantage this week. And to be frank with you, I don't really got a lot of belief that Kevin Patullo is going to be the guy to help Jalen take advantage. This is why I said I think Jalen's got to go out there and in a way, put the team on his back a little bit. If that's play calling, if that's checking at the line of scrimmage, I don't know what that's going to look like, but we need Jalen to be the reason we have offensive success in this game, because I don't think you can come into this game and have a Bills performance where you have a half of good offense and a half of nothing. Like, I don't think that's going to work in the postseason for 4 games. So how do you steady the ship? How do you make it work a little bit more consistently? And then what do you have to do in the game as the quarterback to not lose yourself the game? You got help from the defense. That defense is going to help you. They might get a takeaway. In fact, I would bet that they're going to get a takeaway.
I don't think San Francisco can score enough and do enough. Okay,
Well,
I don't think they can do enough.
It depends on
Caffrey and Kittle.
Like, what is the Eagles' offense going to do?
I think the Eagles' offense can sit back and wait, because who do you think has to push the gamut more? The Niners or the Eagles in this game? I think San Francisco has to.
Yeah, it's not even close. The Niners, 100%.
Because you have the benefit of the defense.
By the way, you want to hear a stat about this game this weekend?
Sure.
It's not specifically on this game, but it's an interesting tidbit. All right. Kyle Shanahan, head coach of the 49ers, absolutely loves Vic Fangio. Tried to hire him in 2017. Didn't know this until this morning. John alerted me to this.
Yeah, he said it in the press conference yesterday too. He said that it almost became.
Yeah, it didn't work out, timing, some stuff like that.
Yeah.
So Kyle Shanahan has played Vic Fangio's defense 4 times in his career. 11 points, 6 points, 15 points, and 9 points.
I think it's 1 touchdown.
That's your point.
There was 1 touchdown in there somewhere.
Now, it's been a while since they've played.
Yeah, it's about 17 or 18, something like that.
I think it was 18. So it's been a bit now. But, Vic has this weird way of like, even the best offensive coaches struggle against Vic. The best quarterbacks, struggle against Vic. So I got great confidence in the defense, and Hurts got to do what it takes on the other side to get the win, whatever that looks like, man. If it's a low statistical output, but that's what they need to win the game, so be it. Fucking win the game. We're in playoff mode now, Like, I'm done caring about what my opinion of how aesthetic it is. I don't give a shit, dude.
It's Wednesday, January 7th.
Like you over Texas A&M. I don't care. Just get out of there with a win.
Get out of there.
Just win the game. That's it. And I think Hurts will do what he has to do to win.
Do you think one of the reasons that you think maybe that Vic struggled against Ben Johnson was because he hadn't seen him before? He had never seen any of the concepts. And now that he had seen Kyle's concepts, he had, played against him a couple times. He had gone against his offenses. Because I'll tell you what, the way that Ben styles up his offenses and puts those creative schemes together, I think it's maybe just because he hasn't seen it, because everybody he goes against, like you say, if you got a run game, you're going to be in a ball game against Vic. If you don't have a run game, man, he's going to put your quarterback to sleep.
Yeah. And like
the
thing about that Bears game, like, do you put that on Vic or do you put that on the players?
On the players.
Yeah, like if you get wrong for 280, like it's one thing if you're getting
out there playing.
Like Caleb, they weren't scheming them up, and they were fucking running the ball down their throat.
Just kick their shit in right there. But again, I don't think there's a lot of run games like that in the playoffs, especially on the NFC side. I think Seattle.
I don't know. I don't think they're going to be able to do that again. By the way, we might have a chance to see it. By the way, if Eagles can get the win this weekend and Bears get the win over the Packers, that's going to be your round 2 game.
Absolutely. Would you make a Nick defending Kevin Patullo? You know what? Maybe that's just what he should. Maybe he should do that. Maybe he should do that.
Wait, going into the playoffs, are you gonna?
Yeah, right. My coordinator sucks.
Oh yeah, my offensive coordinator sucks.
My guy stinks heading in. Hey, thank you very much. I'm going into a playoff game. Yeah, my coordinator's not very good. I heard your boy on this morning finally kicking his ass.
Oh, Mike was awesome this morning. I try and do that to John. John's like a defense attorney.
He put John McMullen to sleep today with that.
Dude,
I know
John's like a defense attorney, and I'm not great at that. Like, like instead of John rebutting what I say, like he'll just pick a hole in what I say instead of having to refute it. It's like, oh no, you said this. That's not true. And I'm not perfect with the way I lay out arguments. So John, John sometimes debates the shit out of me, and that's all right. But I love seeing Mike just say, "Go on," coming out and attacking Kevin Patullo is great.
Sometimes you're not good with words, really? Oh. All right. I got another one. Call me fucking old. All right.
Sometimes you're a sensitive little bitch, Sticks and stones, motherfucker. That's what I was born. That's what I was raised on. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never hurt me. Come on, man. Come on.
Man up, bitch. Hey, Z, do you agree with this? Has to be very disappointing that Howie Roseman went through this football season and came away with the 2025 year going, holy shit, I got work to do on the O-line in the offseason.
Yeah, that's probably the worst feeling you got. Like,
that is even in front of AJ, isn't it? That's in front of AJ's bullshit is, dude, I came away this year going, a year ago, we had the most dominant offensive line since the Cowboy line, and now you're looking at this going like this. How did Rome fall so fast? Right? I mean,
yeah. I wonder if that makes them change their offensive approach a little bit. Just because it's like, dude, it's going to be hard to sustain.
Yeah, it's more Jalen Sunday.
If you're 26-year-old center and your 28-year-old or 27-year-old guard are both decimated after 1 year of running it as much as they did, like that's not going to be sustainable. I can't get that many good offensive linemen.
That's right.
So I wonder if that makes them change a little bit. But I would agree with you that, that's got to be tough. I think they're going to go back to the trenches and draft heavy offensive line this year because they need to. I mean, my black pill right now in the Eagles team is literally, I don't think Cam Jurgens is ever going to be that good.
What round center do you get, second or third?
Well, any interior guy they've ever drafted in recent years has been second round or later. They don't draft first round interior offensive line.
No, Lane was the fifth pick in the draft, and that was Andy.
Fourth pick,
and that's Andy, right?
That was Chip Kelly, actually.
Chip, that's right.
The greatest contribution Chip Kelly ever made to the Eagles.
And Stoutland.
And maybe the only.
And Stoutland.
That's true. Stoutland, too. But I'll say Lane is better. Lane is a bigger contribution to me than Stoutland.
Absolutely.
Guy's going to the Hall of Fame. Guy's going to blink and be in the Hall of Fame first ballot. So
he is.
Yeah.
I turned in my my ballot for all the Hall of Fame guys. I put Luke Kuechly on there. I put Larry Fitzgerald on there. Drew Brees on there. And I can't remember. Oh, yeah. And I put Terrell Suggs.
Wow.
Those are the guys that I sent that to 20 of them. They all came back and they said they echoed it. So we'll see. I think Luke Kuechly is a Hall of Fame guy. What do you make of Purdy?
Like him. Good player, man. Good player, but
Vic's got a lot of respect for him, too.
I'll use your favorite word. Limited. And I don't say that to knock. I think every quarterback in a way.
You think he's physically limited?
Well, but I just mean
I don't think he's mentally limited.
You know what I've noticed with Purdy more? Like he's more mobile now than I remember him being at the start of his career. Like he moves around the pocket a little bit more so now. I think he's a great quarterback, but the thing about him is, and this is every quarterback. This isn't even a knock on Purdy, really. I mean, this is Tom Brady too. You get pressure on that guy, it's a different ball game.
Oh yeah,
and we mentioned yesterday. The games that the Niners lost this year, they got beat up in their offensive line, the interior of their offensive line. So I think that's the recipe. If you get to him and speed up his clock, he could turn the ball over. But if you don't, and he's got time, he can throw the ball, man. He can thread the needle too. He's got great placement, great timing, great accuracy. He runs that offense well. He does a good job at Brock Purdy. But the question, the thing here is going to be get the pressure, and remember, we got great corners, so I think it's going to be harder to get the ball to his receivers. And then Kittle and McCaffrey. Like, if I'm Vic, like the number one thing I want to take away is McCaffrey out of the backfield. Not even running. I'm talking about catching the ball. Like, guy had 102 catches this year as a running back.
Who do you
Don't
think?
Don't let him dump it down like that.
Who do you think is more of a? By the way, I fill out a survey for the Hall of Fame voters, just so you guys know. I don't have a Hall of Fame vote, but I fill out a survey like with Jason Cole and a bunch of guys. Who do you think is the biggest threat in this game Sunday, McCaffrey or Kittle?
McCaffrey.
Why?
McCaffrey. More versatile, beat you every area. I mean, if they can. Here's the thing.
I mean, they can line them up in different places. Is that right?
Yeah. Well, he can catch, he can run, he can do everything.
Slide.
Yeah. I mean, so if you remember, and I'm not to toot my own horn, but me and you were on this early in the week. I think it was maybe even the post-game show or our Monday segment together. Me and you talked about McCaffrey and how many touches he's going to get. And it was Brian Baldinger I saw yesterday who said this. He said, if you see Christian McCaffrey with 14 touches in that game, the 49ers are not going to win.
No way.
If they're able to get him up to 30 because they're moving the ball, they're keeping drives going, they're able to run
combination.
The football, that's where they're going to have points on the board if McCaffrey's up at 30 touches.
Why is that number significant that Baldy's saying is because they're winning first and second down with that, and they're not getting 3 and outs. You got 30 touches, dude, with McCaffrey, 15 carries, 15 touches, whatever that combination is. If you're seeing that number, by the way, I don't think the 49ers go like this. Let me get him 10 catches. Let me get him 10 rushes. I think it's the flow of the game with him. If he's got 20 carries and he's doing well, they're going to hang in that lane. If all of a sudden, Xander, he's not getting the running game going, they're going to flip him out, put him in the slot. They're going to put him out wide because here's what they've done this year, which is brilliant.
Dude, if they don't get the run game going, they're not going to.
Listen, though, here's the one thing, though, that they do that's exceptional. They go 2 back. And what they also do is they put Purdy under center. When they go under center and 2 back, that to me, then they start to put McCaffrey in the slot because they got deficiencies because Pearsall and Ayuk was not even a part of the football team basically this year, and they're limited at the Y and Z. They want to get that kid McCaffrey in the end. They want to get him involved in that pass game. That pass game goes through him. It doesn't go through Kittle. So if they're able to move the sticks with him in the slot, that's going to open up the run game a little bit more. It's going to be interesting to see how they come out and attack Vic. I wonder if they're going to try to attack Vic through the air first or if they're going to try to establish the run game.
They got to run the ball, dude. They got to run the ball. Yeah. You're not going to beat this.
You're not running it at those 2 tackles. You're going to run it off tackle. You're going to run you're going to run stretch plays.
Yeah, but Vic's defense is built to stop big explosive pass plays consistently, And now look, as good as the defense has been, there has been moments where they can get got a little bit, because they have struggled with some personnel, the cornerback too, the safety rotation, some of that stuff, even Jahad Campbell in moments. But to me, they got to get the run game established. If you're seeing anything that resembles what the 49ers did in Week 18 versus Seahawks, 2.8 yards a carry, whatever it was for McCaffrey, I don't think they have a chance, dude, because they're just not going to move the ball enough. When you're playing a team like the Eagles and that defense is that good, you got to hold on to the ball. You got to tire them out. You got to get 30 to 35 minutes of time of possession at least in that football game. That's where you're going to get the defense late. You need a touchdown late. All right, defense is tired. You can go up tempo, run the ball. That's what they need. If they're getting, not able to get the ball or move the ball on 3rd down, or they're not able to establish the run, that's where I think the turnovers will come, and that's where Vic Fangio will take advantage.
You think
my biggest thing here, though, is Kyle. The one thing about Kyle that I think is a guarantee is Kyle's how many times this year, and John talked about this a lot on the postgame show, even that Bucs game just comes to mind. It's like, why is Baker throwing at Quinion? Kyle's not going to do that. Kyle's going to say, you got a Dory Jackson? I'm fucking going to a Dory Jackson. You got Marcus Epps back there in coverage? I'm going at Marcus Epps. Kyle's going to do that. That's the chess match within the chess match for those guys is how can Vic disguise or give those guys help, and how can Kyle take advantage of those 2 weaknesses on Eagles Day?
You see what you've just done there? What you've just done there is you've pointed out the coaches, and I'm shocked as well because what was the one thing that we just said about Kevin Patullo? Kevin Patullo is a first-year play caller, right? Josh Grizzard is the first-year play caller in Tampa.
Yeah.
That's not being prepared on personnel that you're going against and not knowing.
Over his head. He's
in your quarterback, way over your head, not knowing.
He's worried about too much because that's a simple thing. Oh, who am I exploiting this week?
That's right. Know your personnel. Brady says it all the time. Go to the personnel guy. Let me know who I'm playing against. Those to me are the great coordinators, Xander. Don't you want to attack weakness? How the fuck do you attack weakness when you don't know who's the weak link on the defense when you haven't done your homework here? All right. Do you think Jalen Hurts does more running in this ball game?
Oh, yeah.
On Sunday.
Yeah, I'm going to take the over. I don't know what it's set at.
You think he goes over 10 carries?
I don't know about carries, but I'm going to take the over on like around 50 yards. I know that's a pretty big number, but, I think I generally regard Jalen as like a smart guy in that he's not like he's aware of what's going on. Like he knows that the offense hasn't performed to where they need to perform, to make a run to the Super Bowl. To me, I'm thinking he's looking at this like, I got to make hay anywhere I can make hay. And if there's 10 yards, I'm going to go get those 10 yards. If there's 8 yards, I'm going to go get those 8 yards. So I think he's going to run the ball pretty effectively this week. He does have a tendency to do that pretty well in the big moments. So I think he's going to run the ball well. I don't know about 10 carries. That's a lot, but I would be happy with it. I think that would really mess up Salah, dude.
Let me give you 2 guys that are going to have money game. It's the money game. Jalen Phillips, Jalen Carter.
Jalen Carter's number 1.
And maybe Jordan Davis. It'll be some money game here. You show up and you get me a couple sacks if you're Jalen Phillips. You know what I'm doing? How you doing, Drew Rosenhaus?
Yeah, but Jalen Phillips. What would you pay? What would you want to pay Jalen Phillips?
I want to see how he plays in the postseason.
Because he's only got what? Like how many sacks? And I know it's not a perfect number. I think he only had 1 sack since he came to Philly.
What kind of impact do you think he's had on that defensive
unit? Huge. But I'm just saying, when it comes to contract negotiations, that stuff gets used.
You got 1 sack. Oh, that will go down like that.
Yeah, like, dude, 32 million. All right, maybe 25. 32, come on, guy. You're not getting that. So
plus you're always hurt.
He had 2. So he had 2 with Philly. He had 1 versus the Lions, and he had 1 versus the Bills.
I'm not paying $32 million for a guy with 3 sacks this year.
Well, he's got 5 on the year, but 3 of them were with Miami.
Ooh, that's not awful.
That's Nolan Smith.
That ain't 32 though. That ain't 32.
He's got 2 with Philly. I think it's a Jalen Carter game, my man. Jalen Carter, bro. Jalen Carter, it hasn't been the best year for you. We all know that with some of the injuries, some of the stuff you've dealt with, some of the output. This is literally the game for him. Like, go and knock Purdy on his ass in that first quarter. He'll never be the same. This is where Jalen Carter will justify his $35 million deal he's going to get.
And erase the year.
Nobody's going to bat an eye because he's going to torture that interior so much. Brock Purdy's going to be seeing ghosts. This is the Carter game. Carter's going to ball out in this game.
Okay. I mean, he's going to ball out. All right. I mean, listen.
To me, it's Carter on defense, Coop on defense, and Jalen Hurts on offense. Those are my 3 players that need a ball out in this game.
Don't you agree that ever since they put, and this is even more so than Jalen Carter, ever since you put Cooper DeJean in that defense a year ago, was it after the bye that they put him in the that they put him in?
He didn't start at the beginning of the year, remember, because he got hurt in training camp.
Hamstring or something, right?
Yeah, I think it was week 5 or week 6, if I'm not mistaken.
Do you not agree, since they put him in the starting lineup a year ago, the attitude of that defense and the identity of that defense runs through him?
Yeah, 100%. This is why I said to you yesterday, the first 2 guys I'm paying this summer are Jordan and Jalen, not Phillips. Jalen Carter, that is, not Jalen Phillips. I like Phillips. And, hey, if it works and we can keep everybody, all right, yeah, let's sign him too. But if I'm got to be picky, and last year Howie had to be picky, I can't do it. Jalen Carter 1, Jordan Davis 2.
Okay. Well,
I need a great interior.
Wait a minute. What if Jalen Hurts gets to the Super Bowl and wins another one?
Well, I think he's going to win deal anyway. Yeah.
So is he number one priority?
No, he wouldn't be number one priority, but they're going to do him because of the cap reasons. His cap's going to take a balloon. This is what Howie likes to do.
Give him the bag and then stretch it out, lower it at the back end like that. Yep. Put more void years there.
Remember this about that. That's a lot of cash for the owner because he's going to have to give Jalen Hurts cash up front, Jalen Carter cash up front, Jordan David. This is how they like to do contracts. This is how they're able to do it. They give a lot of this money to you up front. They kick out the cap hits all the way down the road. They put it.
You might have the highest payroll in football.
So yeah, I'm not even talking cap hit though. I'm talking straight cash, homie.
Yeah,
how many millions of dollars are needed to be in escrow?
Do you know? Get this. I want to show you something here. What you have coming up here on your football
will be next year, Boulevard.
Okay, I'm going to show you something on what you have coming up here. And I'm going to show you how many $10+ million players you're going to have on your football team. Hurts is one. Barkley's one. AJ's one. Goddard still makes 10, does he not? But he'll be gone. But okay,
I don't know. I think Goddard's a sleeper to come back.
Okay, well, that's 10. He's 10 right now. He took a $4 million pay cut.
Yeah, he's going to have to get a little bit of a raise.
Right. Malata makes plus 10. Landon makes plus 10. Jurgens makes plus 10. Steen doesn't. And Lane does. And Devontae does. So 9 of your 11 football players on offense are going to be making north of 10 million. Watch this on defense here. You're probably going to let Moro Joma go, I'm assuming. Jordan Davis is going to make north of 10. Jalen Carter is going to make north of 10. Jordan Davis is going to make north of 10. Zach Bond already makes north of 10. You're probably not paying N'Kobe. You're probably paying Jalix Hunt. You don't have to worry about him yet. You don't have to worry about Keely Ringo. Has Reed Blankenship played himself back into a contract?
I think he has on the field, but I don't think he's going to get it because of the business.
Okay. So right now, of your 22 players, 15 of those 22 players in 2026 and the start of the season are going to be making north of $10 million.
That's a lot of coin, my friend.
Wow.
Listen, don't make
and
it
some of those contracts are north of 30.
That's why Howie gets paid the big bucks. He'll make it work.
Man.
But, I'm interested to hear Howie's initial press conference of the offseason. Because if you remember, I know we had kind of an underwhelming offseason, but Howie, literally said that up front. He was like, okay, fans, it's going to look a little different this summer.
We got to
shed talent. We're not going to be signing big players. Yeah. He said it's going to look way different.
It took a lot longer. Where do you think John Harbaugh lands? Yeah,
I think he's got it. He's kind of got it,
He could write his
own. The
world
is his oyster right now.
Yeah.
Huh?
How about this? He's going to make north of $20 million wherever he goes.
Dude, apparently it's up to 9 or 10 teams now have called. There's only 6 openings. By the way, I'm losing a little bit of my respect for Lamar.
Yeah, totally. This is on him.
I mean,
remember this. John's won a Super Bowl.
Bro, you got to remember those, Sills. This is part of the reason.
He's won it.
This is part of the reason, though, that a lot of Eagles fans are loyal as shit to Jalen Hurts. Dude, Lamar, all the talent in the world, the athleticism, the speed, the arm, everything about the guy. When you listen to Lamar and you hear, does that guy have the mental makeup to take your team to not one Super Bowl, but multiple Super Bowls? I don't see it.
There's a lot of shit that makes me not like that guy.
I don't see it with Lamar. I see it with Jalen. You might want to criticize how good he can be in the passing game consistently. That's fine. That dude has the mentality necessary to continue to compete at the highest level year after year after year. Lamar, I don't know if I see that.
Why do you think they moved on from John? 180 wins.
Lamar was bitching.
So do you agree with my comment? I posted this on my Twitter. I don't think John Harbaugh lost the locker room. I think he lost the quarterback.
I think he lost the locker room.
I don't think he win. Well, here, Xander, the last couple of years, his record was 10
Apparently,
and 7,
Zay Flowers
13
hated
and
Lamar.
4, 12 and 4, and they were 11 and 6 and 8 and 9. He won 44 football games in 4 years. I mean, it's not sounding to me like you lost a lot. I mean, I think you lost the quarterback.
Yeah, I saw some social media stuff. I don't know if I should believe it or not. I saw some theories. Apparently, some ex-girlfriend of a Raven player was gossiping on Reddit or some shit. I saw all this crap about it. You know, apparently they all hated Harbaugh.
Really? At the end?
Probably because
Harbaugh probably wore his welcome out. Probably wore it out there.
Yeah, but I don't think it's that. I think he just had a bunch of entitled players who don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
They think their shit doesn't stink.
And that's why they're 8 and 9.
Exactly.
I mean, right?
I don't know. Back to what you asked, though. Where does Harbaugh end up?
You think New York?
I got a weird feeling. That's a full court press. And can't you see John Mara, like, after everything they've gone through, and now they've kept this GM. The GM got one shot.
And he's sick. He may want to leave one golden nugget.
I would not want him to go to New York. That would suck.
John Harbaugh in New York. And
would they bring in Todd Monken to be the OC for Jackson Hart?
I do. I also think, remember this, I think Tampa Bay's in that conversation too, and I'll tell you why. Todd Monken coached Baker Mayfield when he was a 11-win football team, and they went to the playoffs. He was the OC in Cleveland.
So who do you think are the coaches
that are currently with jobs
that are hanging on by a thread?
Well, I think Aaron Glenn in New York with that owner.
I don't know. Woody Johnson has a weird affinity. I think it's Miami. John thinks it's Miami. John's if they can get Harbaugh to Miami, Mike McDaniel's out.
You think Josh Harris would have an interest in John Harbaugh in Washington, having been that close to Baltimore?
Yep, I think he could be one. I think not Minnesota. Atlanta's obviously already on the market. I don't think New Orleans. Tampa, definitely one of the guys hanging on, I think.
Tampa, yes, sir. You think Jerry Jones would have an interest in that?
I kind of thought Shoddy did some good things this year. I'm not going to lie.
He did.
I wouldn't bail on Shoddy yet. But, I mean, I guess when you have an opportunity to get the guy.
There it is. There it is. I said it this morning, too. McDermott.
Yeah. It's a good one.
Dude, if McDermott lays an egg again, and I think the Jags are going to upset him. LaFleur in Green Bay, another one because you got policy there now.
Yep.
If McDermott lays an egg, John Harbaugh and Josh Allen together.
Wait, did you hear Jerry Jones today? It was a fucking hilarious comment.
What did he say?
They asked him about will Schottenheimer be picking the new OC? And Jerry hits him with I'm like Trump. I control Venezuela.
No way.
Yo, I was cracking up. Jerry is a funny-ass old head, man.
Oh my God. No wonder Mark Holmes has a fun time covering that team, man.
Oh, my God. You hit him with the I control Venezuela. Oh, man.
I control Venezuela.
I thought it was actually a fair comment. I mean, hey, when the Eagles were hiring a coordinator, it wasn't all Nick Sirianni.
No. You don't think Nick hired Vic, right?
Well, they probably all wanted Vic because who doesn't want Vic? But no, the organizations wanted Vic for a long time.
Man, yeah. Yeah, I control
I don't know what the exact – it was something to that effect.
Dude, that's hilarious, man. Yeah, that is.
I'll read you the exact quote.
Do you think Dan Quinn's on the you think you said yes, right? You think Dan Quinn, you think Washington?
Yeah, I do. I would have probably moved on from him, but I get why they didn't. Yeah, look, he says, Trump just said it. I'm running Venezuela. Listen to him. Gary's so funny.
Coordinator who was shot down to get to hire his own coordinator. Right.
Trump just said it. I'm running Venezuela.
I know who asked that. That must. Hey, was that Hill that asked that question?
About it is Steven and Shoddy are sitting right next to him, and both of them just start belly laughing.
I'm running. I'm running Vel.
We'll see. Where do you think Harbaugh lands?
I think he lands in Tampa.
You don't think there could be a switcheroo in the AFC, do you? In the AFC North?
I asked someone that this morning. Like, tell me who gets the Baltimore job?
Stefanski.
No, Tomlin.
Oh, so I was thinking Baltimore-Cleveland switcheroo.
Oh,
You're thinking Baltimore-Pittsburgh switcheroo. That would be crazy. No, that can't happen.
I mean, okay.
Dude, you know what? If Lamar Jackson couldn't handle Harbaugh, he don't want to be coached by Mike Tomlin.
Yeah. Hey, son, sit your ass down. We don't sit around here moving practice for you.
Yeah, fucking to the afternoon because you don't want to get your ass up in the morning.
Who gets that Baltimore gig? Stefanski?
I think Stefanski.
You think Belichick or Gruden are in any conversations on any of these jobs?
Gotta think, right? A lot of openings and not a lot of candidates.
Clint Kubiak's going to get a job. Do we agree?
I would think so.
Okay. Clint Kubiak is now. How far do they go in the postseason is going to be what kind of job.
Yeah, if they get bounced, maybe not.
Yeah, right. Because then you're talking going late, and you're talking.
I don't know. Still would probably be a good option.
I heard this. I heard that Stefanski went out to dinner last night with John Mara and the upper brass with Joe Schoen and all them guys. And I heard Stefanski goes, "Is John Harbaugh coming in for dinner too?" He goes, "Yeah, he's in the morning." And I'm like, okay. So they're interviewing John Harbaugh today as we speak to the Giants. So they're going to get either Stefanski or they're going to get John Harbaugh for Jackson Dart. My question would be, if I'm John Harbaugh, do I want Jackson Dart as my guy?
No, I'm not a Jackson Dart guy. I've been saying this. I said I sounded the gong yesterday. I'm out on Darty. I'm out on Dart.
Would you make a trade for Mac Jones?
Dart stinks. That's what I'm doing. Who? The Giants?
Yeah.
No, they're not. They're not. They're going to stick with Dart for a little bit.
Well, I learned one lesson after watching Minnesota. You better have a B plan when you're an organization that's going to go on a rookie quarterback.
Dude,
Minnesota shit the bed on that.
Minnesota had 3 other options that they could have made that all.
3 other, and they would have been in the playoffs.
Aaron Rodgers wanted to play.
They went 9-8.
They had Darnold, and who else did they have?
Mac Jones.
Mac Jones. They could have gone with any of those.
No. Daniel Jones. Excuse me. They had
Daniel Jones. Yeah, Daniel Jones. Yeah.
If you're Indianapolis, do you extend him?
Who?
Daniel Jones.
I think they probably will. What injury did he get? Would he have an ACL?
I can't remember. I don't remember what he injured. What was it? His knee? Daniel Jones injury. Daniel Jones.
Ooh, he tore his Achilles, bro.
Well, that's going to go into training camp.
Yeah, at least.
What do you do with Deshaun Watson in Cleveland?
I don't know.
Can't do anything. It's guaranteed.
Cut him.
Cut him? Cut him.
Dude, the guy's got signed 4 years ago. He hasn't done shit.
You're cutting a guaranteed $230 million contract.
Oh, that's over. It's now. It's not $230 anymore. That was when they signed the deal. That was 4 years ago.
How many years has he been?
3 years ago.
3 years ago. Okay, $230. Z. There's still about $100 and some odd million left on that cap hit.
All right. Well, the dude's a stiff. I don't know what you want from me. Not only
there's nothing.
He didn't only go to the massage parlor to get massaged. He went there to get his powers taken away, man. I don't know what the hell you want from me. The guy in his Browns career he's got 12 total touchdowns since he signed that contract.
You got to keep him. You got to keep that stiff.
He's a total stiff. I liked Watson too.
Hey, me too. He was
Dude,
great.
He's played in 19 total games in 3 years with
Hey,
Cleveland.
can you believe that Houston is where they are now after getting rid of him, and where they are now? They're in a position to potentially get to the AFC Championship game.
Let's see.
Oh, how about this? Well, one thing I will say: who's the best team in Texas?
Not Dallas Cowboys. Not even close.
Who would have
That
thought
Texans
the
defense
Houston
nasty good, man.
Texans are the best team?
All right,
in the
good shit. Wait, let me make sure we got these supers. I think we only got one. Here's my star. Who needs Phillips? We got Uche and Ojulari. Wait, I'd be curious if you asked Philly, those three guys on the defensive line, who would he want to pay first? Carter, Davis, and Phillips.
We'll start
Philly,
that
I'll
off.
tell you, my order is Carter, Davis 2, and Phillips, because I believe we need to keep the interior of the D-line together. Now, I understand Phillips is very valuable, but I don't know. That's a lot of cash on that D-line. I don't know how much they're going to pay.
We will ask the Z question here with our friends. Big
All right, brother.
Z,
Appreciate you.
we will catch you in the morning on Birds 365. Appreciate
Later,
you,
dude.
brother.
Later.
That is our friend Xander Kraus. Please hit the like button for Big Z. All right. Without further ado, one of the best, and I mean the best, when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys, content creators, and one of the absolute GOATs that we have come on this program all the time. He is our friend, the legendary Mark Holmes and Philly 500. They join us now here, as they always do. And these guys are spectacular.
Oh, Mark, you little cold on the couch over there, buddy. I got a blanket for you today. Stay warm. Stay warm on that couch. Them couch boots got to stay warm. Brr, brr. Don't play off for me. You're gonna watch my couch right now. You're gonna watch a real team. You're gonna be watching a real team
there with us. But I'm curious. So, Willie, where do you watch your games? You don't sit on the sofa?
I don't sit. We're playing.
Oh,
yeah,
I know.
We're playing.
You stand the whole game? You don't sit on the sofa?
Sometimes, yeah. No, sometimes I don't sit on a sofa. No, I have a chair. I'm usually streaming, and if I'm not sitting, I'm usually pacing.
Do you have a beer in your
video
hand?
of me? No, I do not. You know, the older I get, the less I like alcohol. I don't know what it is. It's
good for you.
I don't know. I'll have some beers for the right occasion, but it's like maybe once or twice a year. It's weird.
Well, the older I get, the more
Weird.
intoxicated I want to get. So I mean,
you know what it is I get headache. Like I get raging headaches, even if I have like one beer. Or if I have a glass of wine with dinner, it's I don't know what it is, but the older I get, the less I want to drink.
Mark,
well, I tell you what, the last time I had a whole lot to drink was when Micah Parsons got traded, and I passed the fuck out.
Live on Philly 500's channel.
Literally, just drinking. Oh, this team sucks. Ah.
Hey, bro.
Hey, Mark, you have plenty of stuff on me. Standing up, going, freaking out, throwing my hat. Come on.
Hey, Mark.
I gotta have something, man.
Mark,
come on.
That was one of the greatest lines. Xander played it for me today
God.
with Jerry Jones.
I
run Venezuela when he was asked, who you hiring in the next coordinator, man? I mean, hey, well, let me start it with you here. Give me a 2025 year-end synopsis of your football team and what you did this year.
We didn't bust a grape. I mean, at least not on defense. Okay, people will go through and say, "I know Philly 500. He's got to stand the thing." Dak choked, but when you give up 511 points, and when you look at the top 10 of teams that have given up points worse than the NFL, none of them have a winning record, and most of them only have like 2 wins. And when you can't take away the football, we averaged, I think, 0.7 takeaways a game. The only team that was really worse was the Jets, who couldn't get a freaking interception. And you can't expect to get rid of your best player a week before the season and just think we can just grab some guys and throw them together and have a defense. So I don't know that anything changes. You listen to the press conference, which is an hour and 15 minutes of my life. I can't get back. And it seems like everyone I've heard for the last 15 years.
Well, you did win the NFC East, at least when you're talking about having the best record in the East. No, nothing. You were 4-2 in the East. The Eagles split.
Buy
with
your
everything.
shirt. You should make that shirt, Mark.
Yeah,
Great NFC East record.
yeah, that's it.
We
We
celebrate.
East.
What a lose. That's loser talk. Man.
It is. Absolutely. Nobody wants to have the hat and T-shirt. You want to have the parade. So, Philly, I'm going to start it out with a Big Z question here, man. If you're going to sign somebody this coming off season, you go in Phillips, you go in Davis, more money, or you go in Carter first. Give me the line of how he's going to put this in priority.
This is what I would do. I think this is what the Eagles are going to do. I think you have to do this, and it has to be Jalen Carter 1, Jordan Davis 2, and then Jalen Phillips 3. You cannot afford to lose a Jordan Davis. From everything, from what he's done this year.
He's had a really good year. Really good year.
Right. But if you watch like that Hard Knocks, one of the things that really came out in that Hard Knocks, especially yesterday's episode, was he is like a leader on that team. He is almost like personality-wise in the locker room. I see him as Brandon Graham. And I just don't think you can let a guy like that go. He's got to stay. So, yeah, they're both those guys. And if I can't get Phillips, you know what? I'll have to figure something else out. But I like the way Jalen Hunt is developing. I'll tell you that.
Absolutely. He's playing great. How about Mark? Would you make a play because now you have assets because of the Parsons deal? Would you go after Max Crosby? Seems that he's available now. Would you use some of the equity that you have to put on the line there with Quinn and Williams?
Absolutely. Because here's, Jerry Jones loves his draft picks, and I get that. Now, contrary to what Philly 500 is going to say, I look at what Dak Prescott did this year. To me, that says you got 2 or 3 years where you're going to be able to have him, and you're going to have to start all over. And if I can get that kind of play out of next year, and this year he's going into the offseason healthy, I've got to try and win right now. And saying I'm going to take a first-round pick gamble and trying to get somebody in the first round as an edge rusher, or take Max Crosby, look at him and say he's just signed a contract for $35 million a year. That's a better move to me, even if you have to give up some more draft capital for the following year. And if you can say you got Quentin Williams, Kenny Clark, and Max Crosby for Micah, bro, that's a win.
How about for you, Philly? If you can't sign, I asked Xander, and he hated the idea, but if you can't sign a guy like Jalen Phillips, by the way, he's represented by Drew Rosenhaus, so he's going to command high-end money. Would you be open to having somebody or a conversation? I don't believe it's going to be 2 1s. I think it's a 1 and maybe a 3. Look at what Brian Burns went for. And Brian Burns had the second most sacks in the NFL this year. So, I mean, would that be something you'd be open to? Like having
to go after Max Crosby? Yeah. I'm all for just loading up on that defensive line. Max Crosby had a podcast about a month ago, a few weeks ago, and he kind of hinted that he would love to play for the Eagles. So maybe he was throwing something out there. Keep an eye on it, but not at the expense of extending Carter or Davis. That is priority over. That.
Matt Eberflus, would you be open to having somebody like a Raheem Morse take over the defense? And here with Raheem won a Super Bowl as the coordinator for the Los Angeles Rams. And again, I mean, he was the Rams coordinator there when they won the Super Bowl. Remember, he's not a great head coach. No one's ever going to put that next to his name. And by the way, he did tie for the lead in the AFC South with those other horrible 2 teams. All that being said, I mean, where do you go defensively when it comes to coordinator on Dallas? Because let's be candid here, dude. The last 3 years, the Dallas Cowboys defensive front 7, now that you've addressed it with Williams a little bit, but still there's a lot of work to be done. And it must kill you to see what's going on with your ex-Cowboy in Seattle and what he's doing up there.
He was our defensive line coach. He was right here, and they didn't give him a chance. Now, I had always liked Al Harris, but Al Harris is not going to be a possibility because him and Brian Schottenheimer don't get along because Al Harris lets the guys get away with a lot. And, allegedly culture is the key here. And Brian Schottenheimer believes that getting rid of Diggs and getting rid of Micah Parsons kind of changes the culture of guys that are buying in. Brian Flores is supposedly one of the hot candidates, but with 7 openings out there, he may end up becoming a head coach, which might help that lawsuit kind of go away. Raheem Morris, I would love to have Raheem Morris. He was an incredible defensive coordinator. And you mentioned Durden. I don't know for Durden if you want to leave Seattle right now, being a number 1 seed and stuff, to come to Dallas for a shitstorm. Now, if Brian Flores does not get a head coaching job, I would say that the Cowboys would be the best opportunity, because you look at it and you say, I've got an offense. I don't necessarily have to do a lot.
And his contract is up, by the way. So
his contract is up, and I'm going to definitely get a lot of publicity that's the launching pad to get that next job. If you're the Cowboys, to me, that makes a lot of sense, because if he does come here and gets a head coaching job, you're talking about 2 third-round comp picks because he's a minority candidate.
I love that. I mean, I really do. All right. So in the press
I have a better name.
Tell me.
Jonathan Gannon.
Jonathan Gannon wouldn't be bad either.
You can take that mother humper. We'll send it to you. I'll tell you the name that I don't like.
You dismiss he helped you get to a Super Bowl in 22?
I just don't like him. I don't like that he was sitting
because
there.
He's kind of like a Lane Kiffin, like where he only cares about his own.
Because he came out and he said, I'm not going to take a head coaching job. And then Vic went to Miami. We could have had him a year early. And then he was out there house shopping instead of getting ready. And the defense stunk in that Super Bowl. So I hate him with a passion. So he belongs in Dallas. But there's rumors that the Cowboys may be interested in Clint Hurt. I have a huge problem with that.
Mm-hmm.
I do not want him going to Dallas. I want to retain him.
Here's the problem that you have retaining him.
I know.
You've already named Jeff Stoutland your assistant head football coach. You know how you keep people away? Because here's a rule, Philly. If you're under contract, you cannot make lateral moves while you're under contract. So what a lot of organizations do, they'll go the assistant head football coach, and they'll add that, which makes it even tougher to hire that guy, which means your next job has to be a head coach. I've been told by numerous people that Clint Hurt is a superstar in the organization. Him and Bobby King, they don't want to, and Christian Parker, they don't want to let go of that. Now, if you lose Christian Parker, remember something. Raheem Morris was the secondary coach in Tampa with Tony Dungy, and he took over for Mike Tomlin in that secondary. That wouldn't be a bad addition to having a guy like that back there with a Super Bowl ring.
Let me ask you a question. And I don't know the answer to this, but what if the Eagles went to Clint Hurt or Christian Park, one of them, and said, look, we want you to stay. We're going to pay you more money, and we want you to be the eventual replacement to Vic Fangio. So do you think that's something one of those guys would think about doing?
Okay, here's what happened in Tampa a couple of years ago with Liam Cohn. So they wanted to give Liam Cohn $6 million a year to be the offensive coordinator because they wanted him to be the heir apparent because they knew he was a talented guy, and they wanted him to become the next head coach of the Buccaneers eventually after they moved on from Todd. Well, he all of a sudden shows up in Jacksonville that morning, and he ends up getting the head coaching job. So, I mean, you would have to really be a significant. He'd have to be the highest paid. Now, look, if they win the Super Bowl and Vic, again, is going to pass it off the baton to him, and that's the next guy in line, I think Clint would stay there because he sees the two talented young defensive tackles that he has.
I love the way he's developed those guys. The defensive, I mean, Carter, Davis, and even Jalen, like watching him in the inside the Hard Knocks. I just want to keep him. So
I've known him since he was 17 years old, and he's a heck of a guy. He's a hot commodity. I could see him being a New York Giants defensive coordinator. I mean, I could see John Harbaugh getting that job and making Clint Hurt the defensive coordinator in New York with that group that they have there. Because remember, too, that group in that front seven that the Giants have, that's a pretty damn good group, too. So
it is. Yeah.
All right. So Lane Johnson potentially coming back. What do you make of that? He looks like he's going to play on Sunday. Now, the question I have for you is, isn't it more important if he can last?
Yeah. And I was going to say that. Like, I'm great with him coming back. Our record with him in the lineup is so much better when it's out. But if he's like 65, 70% and we could wait a week, I'd like to do that. You know what I mean? I want to make sure when he comes back, he's ready to go. If he's ready to go this week, then great. But, we got to see.
Pickens, what are you going to do with him, Mark? I mean, are you just going to let him become a free agent? Is he going to roll out, or are you going to sign him?
Well, here's the thing. If you listen to, like I said, an hour and 15 minutes of Jerry Jones, my brain still hasn't recovered. Pickens is a key guy. Between Pickens and Clowney, they showed a whole lot of love and desire on it. The last part in there, that they said, we're going to try and get him signed or tagged. So they kind of threw that in there. I'm not sure the tag is going to be what Pickens wants, but he is definitely a priority for them this offseason. And as far as interviewing coordinators, they haven't made any calls just yet, even though they have fired Everfluss on who they want to have. So they're having their exit meetings with coaches tomorrow. So we'll see who's going to be retained. For all we know, it might be White Cotton is because Jerry Jones likes to hire from within. White Cotton might end up being the defensive coordinator.
I want you to do me a favor, Mark.
What's that?
I want you to rank me the greatest Dallas Cowboy quarterbacks in franchise history.
You're trying to piss me off.
I want you to rank the best quarterbacks, not based. But wait a minute, not based on rings.
Right, because we wouldn't want to think about winning as mattering at all. Right? Okay,
because winning is a team accomplishment. It's not an individual accomplishment. In a team
It is.
sport.
It is.
Roger Staubach, Troy Aikman, and right now it's a toss-up between Danny White, Tony Romo, and Dak Prescott. Now, depending on what Dak Prescott does the next couple of years, he could move into number 3.
I think Dak's the third best quarterback you've ever had.
I think, like I said, you can take him, Danny White. Danny White got to 3 NFC Championship games.
I'm not talking team accomplishments. I'm
Can't
talking
talk about
wins.
Danny White was still.
You got to put Romo up there over Dak if you're going to talk about this.
Would you take Romo or Dak in a game if you had to win a 60-minute ball game?
Are you asking me?
Jeez, I would take Romo in a second.
Okay,
I just wouldn't let him hold. I just wouldn't let him hold the extra point. He might fumble the point.
Who would you take, Philly?
I'd take Romo over Dak.
Okay, well, let me ask you a question.
If I'm talking about just pure thrower,
talent,
I would take Romo. Yeah,
okay,
I would take Romo.
Okay, based on pure talent, who you take in a football game? Randall Cunningham or Jalen Hurts?
I can't do it. I can't do it.
Randall.
I can't.
Why not? Wait a minute.
Because I can't. I will tell you straight up, I cannot be objective with Randall. Randall's like my all-time favorite quarterback.
Randall.
I would take him over Johnny Unitas, Joe Montana. Like, I don't care. Do you understand? Like, I don't care. It's always Randall. Randall's my guy. But if I had to be honest and say win a playoff game, one game in pressure situation, I think Jalen Hurts is the guy. I mean, if I'm being logical, I think Hurts excels in those moments.
Who would you take if you're going to start a franchise and you got to start from scratch, Randall or Hurts?
Who's my coach?
Randall.
John Harbaugh.
I'd probably take Randall. I can't.
You can't get away from Randall.
I can't be objective about it. I fully admit it. I can't. Randall's like my guy, man.
If Randall played in today's NFL, he'd be Patrick Mahomes.
If Randall had Andy Reid.
Oh God. Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. Randall would be, in my opinion, he'd be Patrick Mahomes. All right. So let me ask you this one. What do you have more concerns over going into this playoff game against San Francisco? Do you have the O-line or Kevin Patullo?
Oh, I'm not going to just say Patullo. I'm going to say the coaching staff. The prevent offense.
The offensive
that's what I'm scared. Staff. Yeah, look, I'm more scared that the Eagles are going to be up 13-0 than 10-10 or down 7. They scare me more when they're winning because they go into a prevent offense. If they keep the pedal to the metal, I think we'll be fine.
Mark, what do you think happens this Sunday with the 49ers and the Eagles?
Are you asking my heart or my head?
I'm asking whatever you want. Do you tell me?
I pray that the Eagles die, man. Crash and burn, because for them to rest their starters this past week when they had a chance of moving up, I gotta say that don't what. I guess
that I've been fighting people all week on that. I think that was the dumbest shit I've ever seen in my life, and I'm so pissed off about it. By the way,
in the ass. Now,
I just think it's stupid.
San Francisco's been biting a lot of injuries and stuff. They can score points, but their defense is not good. So, you could look for the Eagles. Maybe to score a whole bunch of points in this game and it being a shootout.
Yeah, but where would you think that the Eagles are going to score a lot of points when they don't score a lot of points?
Again, San Francisco's defense has been that bad.
Yeah, but guess
what?
I'll say the Bears are 30th.
You know what? Things can change in the playoffs. Things get weird in the playoffs.
So the whole 5 months, 5 months of football that you saw.
Hey, do you remember the Colts' first Super Bowl?
That defense,
right, Peyton Manning's first Bowl. That defense was horrible all year. They get into the playoffs and they become they go to work. I'm not saying it's likely, but I'm saying I think it could be better.
That was Tony Dungy's Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They were 28th, and they had Bob Sanders back there in and out because he was always banged up back there.
It lights out in the playoffs on defense.
I want to get you guys' opinions on this weekend, if you don't mind. Do you mind the playoff games?
No, of course.
Okay, how about this? So the Rams got beat by this Carolina Panther team. I think the Rams are a finesse team. The reason the Panthers are a team that can beat them, they went up to Green Bay, beat the piss out of them. I think they beat you guys too, Mark, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
Carolina is a very physical team. They're up and down. I don't know. They got to go back to Carolina. First, I'll start with you, Mark. What do you make of this one here? Do you like the Rams or Carolina?
I still got to take the Rams at home. I look for them to rebound. You got the quarterback,
home.
Matthew Stafford. I'm sorry.
Rams on the road.
Excuse me, on the road. I still got to take Matthew Stafford. Quarterback trumps everything.
What about you, Philly?
Wait. He just said, you hear what he just said?
Quarterback trumps everything.
I just want quarterback trumps everything. Okay. No, I just want it out there. I just want your words. I'm not going to argue with that. I got the Rams. It's very hard for me to see that the Panthers are going to sweep the Rams. God, I would love it, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Mark, Philly, Green Bay and Chicago at Soldier Field. And boy, this is a pretty big game for the next round, if you think about it, right?
Huge game.
If Chicago gets knocked out, all that stuff you just said about the rest of the players.
It takes the coach off the it takes him off the hot seat.
Off the hook. If Chicago wins that game, it puts the coach back in where that now. And hey, Mark, just for your knowledge, the Eagles in the Sirianni era, outside of the neutral site Super Bowl, they've never won a road game in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, they've never won a game in the postseason on the road. Who do you like here, Philly?
I'm going to go with Chicago. I think that the Packers are beat up, and the only thing I'll say that I put in the Packers on their side, it's very hard to beat a team 3 times in 1 year. So I think they got that going for them, but I still think Chicago is going to win this game.
How about you,
I think that running game.
The Bears are who we thought they were. The Bears are who we thought they were. Okay. Malik Willis is limited in practice. Jordan Love is not quite there, and he may have to play. They're just beat up, and they're on the road in Chicago. I think the Bears are going to get this one.
Is that a fact? You know, I've been hearing people give me that in and out where, like, Love may not play in this game.
See, that's what I keep hearing too, but I haven't seen anything on that. But people have said that to me as well. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Let's go into the Sunday games here. I'm going to tell you guys, Buffalo Bills heading into Jacksonville. I'm sorry, man. I think the Jags upset Buffalo here.
Oh, man.
And I think they win that football game, Mark. What do you think?
I think the Bills are going to get that one. I'm going to go back to my original statement. I think Josh Allen is on a different level than Trevor Lawrence. I know Trevor Lawrence has played well the last few games and things, but I'm going to take Buffalo on that one.
What do you got, Philly?
You really gonna mess Mark up if Lawrence goes and wins another playoff game, boy. I tell you that. I'm going with the Bills. I feel like that. I first of all, I think the AFC is the hardest. I think it's even harder to figure out what's going to happen. But I think this has got to be for Allen. If you're a Bills fan, Josh Allen, this is your time right now.
Absolutely.
So I'm gonna go with the Bills.
I'm gonna wait for San Fran and Philly to the end here. How about this one here, Philly? Chargers at Gillette in Foxborough. Who do you like here?
All right, here's my upset of the week.
Uh-oh.
I don't know why, but I just keep hearing his voice, the Chargers. And to me, Herbert has Dak-itis, right, in the playoffs. He hasn't been good. I just feel like, I don't know. I just got a feeling they're going to win. I'm going to go the Chargers in the upset. That's going to be my upset of the week.
So wait a minute. What do you take for Dak-itis? What, is there anything you can take?
You take a trip to Cancun. You go to Cancun.
Yeah. You take a trip and you get feeling better in Cancun. All right. What do you got here, Mark? Chargers or Patriots?
Cold weather team versus a dome stadium team from Cali.
Yeah, I know.
Going across the country, you got to take New England.
I know. I agree. That's the logical play, but I just got this weird feeling about that game. I don't know why. I do.
I'll tell you this. I got a crazy feeling about this Texans team going pretty far with that defense in the postseason. Mark, what do you like here, man? Houston versus the Steelers at home in Pittsburgh.
I'm going to take the Texans on that one. I think that, like, I'm with you. That defense of theirs is lights out.
I'm with you. What do you got, Philly?
I'm going Steelers. I think Steelers, Aaron Rodgers, playoff magic, maybe a little bit left in the tank. And I agree with you on the Texans defense, but I don't know. Stroud, he's going to have to prove himself, and that offense going to have to prove themselves. And, you know, it's hard to play in Pittsburgh. So I'm going to say Pittsburgh's going to win that game.
All right, Philly. 49ers, San Francisco, and I want to score. What do you think?
Of course, I think the Eagles are going to win. I think that this game, the offense is actually going to be better than we've seen all year. And I'm going to say that because I think one of the things they're going to do is I think we're going to see a lot more RPOs, and I think we're going to see Hurts run a lot more. And I think it's going to open up that run game. So I'm going to say the Eagles are going to win this game 27-17.
Okay. What do you got, Mark?
I'm actually going to take the 49ers because I hate the Eagles, but I don't think the weather will be a factor because it's going to be in the 50s on Sunday.
Yeah, that's true.
It's going to be good, and so that won't slow down San Francisco too much there.
Who has a better game, Mark? Purdy or Hurts?
Purdy.
You think Purdy throws for 300 yards in this game?
They're going to have to.
Good luck. Good luck. No, I think Hurts is going to have a monster game.
I think the only team, Philly, to have a 300-yard passing game against the Eagles was Dak Prescott. If I'm not mistaken.
Well, when you play prevent offense and you keep your defense on the field for a whole half, that's what happens. But you know what? I think this. You know who I think's really going to be big in the playoffs? I think Jalen Hunt and Jordan Davis. I think those guys are going to be huge difference makers. If you remember last year, Jalen Hunt and Jordan Davis both kind of came on in the playoffs last year. That's when it started. So the Eagles are going to beat the 40 Whiners. The Whiners. They're like babies, the Whiners.
Hey, Mark.
So I got the Eagles.
How disappointing is it that, you know, when's the last time you guys talked playoff football?
Stay warm on the couch.
Mark, give me a sense.
Hey,
give me a sense of Cowboy fans.
This is our time to shine, man. It's the new hope, man. It's the Dallas Cowboys looking at a new defensive coordinator. You know, we're talking about going out in free agency. This is the time to shine. This is the time where people are really paying attention. As rubber hits the road.
We are going to see
it sucks.
the greatest the greatest Mark Holmes meltdown this offseason. This is my prediction. The Cowboys are going to trade Dak Prescott and shock everybody.
Okay.
This offseason.
And they're going to go after Joe Burrow?
I don't know what they're going to do, but I think they're going to trade him.
Hey, Mark, would you trade Dak for Burrow?
The problem with Burrow is can't stay healthy. That would be my bigger concern with him because he's not durable. And he's had a lot of injuries in his short career.
Who would you rather have, Mayfield or Dak?
Dak. Mayfield is
Mayfield. I've seen him win playoff games.
You'd want a ham sandwich over Dak. Let's be clear here.
No. I mean, it depends.
I mean,
I would take Dak. I would take Dak over some players. That's not true.
Really, especially in the regular season. Do you think Dak was a top 10 quarterback this year?
Yeah, I do. My argument with Dak is never his statistics in the regular season.
Or his wins against Philly.
Mine are always when you need that play, when you need that drive, when it's big moment. He doesn't come up for you, and he doesn't seem to care. I've never seen a guy so happy to walk off a field after a loss.
Okay, Mark, I'm going to do one last thing with you guys, if you don't mind. A couple seconds here. Listen, then I'm going to ask Philly this. Mark, I'm going to give you, so he just said Jalen Hurts is big, and you agree with that, right, Mark? Or Philly, that you think that Jalen plays big in playoff moments, right?
In the bigger the moment, he does, yeah.
Okay, Mark, tell me what you think of this. Here's Jalen Hurts' first playoff game. 23 of 43, 258, 53 completion percentage, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. What do you make of that game? What would you give that grade?
Not real good. Did they get the win? That's all it counts.
They didn't.
No, we didn't.
How about this one here? By the way, I'm not just doing the bad. I'm doing the good. The next one against the Giants, 16 of 24 for 154 yards and 2 touchdowns. This was in the divisional game in 2023. What do you make of that game? 154 yards and 2 TDs, 16 to 24.
You didn't put your team in trouble by any turnovers. 2 TDs. Okay. And because you didn't pass that many times, then you probably were balanced and won the game because you weren't chasing somebody where you had to
blowout. It was a blowout. Tell them you have the score. Tell them the score because
I'm talking about individual play here. I'm talking about what I'm saying. That's context. That's context.
Yeah, because you're in the playoffs, guys that throw 40 times a game are usually losing.
No, I'm not ripping anybody here. I'm just talking about his individual play in the game. I'm not ripping anybody. That's not a rip.
Okay.
In the NFC title game, this was the Reddick destruction game. He was 15 of 25 for 120 yards and 60% completion percentage with no touchdowns in the NFC title game. What do you make of that game?
Didn't put his team behind by throwing any interceptions. He probably just run the football.
I think this is the best game he's ever played in his entire career. Was the Super Bowl in Arizona, where he was 27 of 38 for 304 and a touchdown. He was like 70% completion percentage. And if it wasn't for the scoop and score, it's probably an A+ game. Do you not agree?
Yeah.
Right, Philly? Probably an A+ game if it's not, because it's probably a win, right?
I believe if they kick the field goal there, he's going down and winning that game.
Yeah, I agree. Following year, Wildcard, Tampa, 25 of 35, no A.J. Brown, 250. After I look back at that game where he had a touchdown, nothing was going right for the entire team. But I don't really think he played all that bad. 70% completion percentage.
I thought he was horrible. I think that was I think that game was horrible, but it wasn't just him. It was the whole team. They just looked like they were done.
Okay, that's fair. The following season, obviously the Super Bowl year now. Green Bay, check this out. He's 13 of 21 for 130 yards and 2 touchdowns in that ball game. What do you make of that game? What do you think of that game, Mark?
Pretty good.
Philly, what do you make of that?
I thought he was pretty good. Remember, he had missed 4 or 5 weeks with a concussion, and I don't even think he practiced much leading up.
Oh, yeah,
right.
Okay.
Yeah, remember Washington?
That's right.
Yes. And so he didn't even. I don't even think
That's
he
right.
practiced that much.
Pickett and McKee played at the end of the year. That's right. That's right.
And so I thought he kind of came in cold. So I thought he was fine.
Okay. How about this one here? Sacked 7 times in the ball game by the Rams. He was 15 of 20 for 120 yards and no touchdowns. What do you make of that game?
He rushed for a touchdown, though.
Okay.
Big rushing touchdown.
Okay.
And also, I would say that I think we got to remember it started snowing in that second half, and he hurt himself.
Barkley went for 200 yards in that game.
Yeah, and he hurt his leg. Remember, second half, he hurt his leg, so he wasn't moving well.
I'm just talking.
No, I know. I'm just telling you what I remember from it, and it was snowing, and I don't think that helped him.
Okay. Now here's the NFC title game: 20 of 28, 70% completion percentage, no sacks too. He's 248 and a touchdown in the ball game. I think he's exceptional in that game.
I agree.
Then the Super Bowl, I actually think he may have played even better in the NFC title game. 17 to 22 for 220 yards and 2 TDs and a pick in the Super Bowl against Kansas City. How do you think he played in that game?
MVP.
Okay.
Played great.
So let me ask you this, Mark. After what I just said, that's his resume.
Are we going to do Dax now? Because I want to hear his NFC Championship stats.
Okay, so
I want to hear his Super Bowl stats.
Let me ask you then this one. 24 of 38, right? 302 yards, 3 TDs, 1 interception, a 103 rating.
Where? What game?
Green Bay and Dallas. His rookie year.
Yeah. Well, of course he had it. So he was behind.
I'm just talking about what a guy's done in the playoffs here. I mean, I'm done.
That was in the playoffs, unfortunately, in the loss. 3 TDs, 1 interception, and 103 rating.
I know, but I think the context of that is that he was getting crushed, Mark. Of course he's going to. The one thing that you
34-31. How's that getting crushed?
Sills. So here's one thing I noticed.
Whoa. Back it up. They drove down the field, took the lead, and left 40 seconds on the clock.
What game are we talking about? You're talking about the Green Bay game where you.
No, Green Bay and Dallas, his rookie year. You always say he's a choker.
Okay, you're talking about the rookie year game. You're not talking about the game that was 24-0.
That's one of those losses on there.
But you played Green Bay twice in the playoffs. You got to tell me what you want exactly.
I said in 2016. Well, no, I just gave you the statistics. 24 38, 302 yards, 3 TDs, 1 interception, 73 QBR, and
sounds good.
But it's a loss. Good. Yeah, that's where Dax is over. He stinks.
Okay,
right?
but that was 2016. What about 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020? Well, let's talk about the Green Bay game. Let's talk about the Packer game where it was 21-0. He throws a pick six.
How we talk about the
Let's talk about the 49ers game where you go down both those times. You go down big, and then he's got to throw to get you back in. And then he runs the clock out. Remember, Mark? He literally ran a
line that kept him from getting sacked.
You can blame everybody else, but you gotta accept the responsibility that he has to show up.
Let me ask you one thing about winning and losing. Do you think that's a quarterback stat, or do you think that's a team stat?
I think it's of course winning is ultimately a team game, right? But you can't sit there and deny that every other quarterback is held to this standard. So I'm going to hold Dak to that same standard and not make excuses for him. That's what I'm saying. Dak didn't have to run a quarterback sneak with no time left and timeouts. He didn't have to do that.
So Trevor Lawrence, Justin Herbert, Josh Allen, all these guys, they're not in the Super Bowl.
They're all to me, they're all the same Dakitis. Do you understand? They got to go prove themselves. Basically, I will say this: Josh Allen showed me.
Pat Mahomes, and there's Jalen Hurts, and then there's everybody else. Is that what you're saying?
No, because I don't hold Josh Allen in that. I don't hold Josh Allen as that. And here's why. I watched one of the most amazing playoff games where that guy went in overtime and gave his team the lead in Kansas City, and he lost. I can't hold that against him, But I think Herbert is there. I think Trevor Lawrence, he had that great comeback, but I think it's a fair question for him. I think it's a fair question for all these guys.
Well,
and
last
I
one
think
here.
they all get shit. But
Well,
Dak don't.
Well,
Dak
wait a
gets
minute there.
ass.
I want to. He talks about winning. Let me ask you this, Mark, about a guy like a Sam Darnold. The last 2 years, he's 28-6 with 2 different football teams. Last year, he shit the bed at the end of the year against Detroit. All of a sudden, this year, his team won. And they won the number 1 overall seed, and they won the West. That was his second opportunity. This is only going to be his second playoff game that he's ever been in. Obviously, last year was a train wreck. Probably ruined his chances of staying in Minnesota a year ago. All that being said, do you trust him in the playoffs in Seattle with the number 1 overall seed?
I'm going to say, here's the advantage that he has over.
He's 28-6.
I hear you on that. But here's the advantage that you have. When you play in Seattle, when those fans are going, it's like being inside a fucking jet engine.
It is. It's like a college stadium.
I shit you not, because they told me before I went to that game, get some fucking earplugs. I'm sitting beside my wife, and I am screaming at the top of my lungs, and she can't hear me. So that is an advantage that will definitely help them out a bit there.
What do you say, Philly? I mean, 28-6, man. Oh, get this. On 2 different teams.
Got to prove it in the playoff now, man.
That's true.
Now they got to go prove it. And you know what? I'm going to tell you honestly, Sills, I think that team is I think they're pretty tough. And if the Eagles have to go in there, that's going to be a really tough game because we have a problem playing in Seattle. But I think the Rams are going to go in there and beat them.
The last time I think the Eagles.
They almost won the last time, the Rams.
I think, right? Am I not mistaken? The last time you guys won in Seattle's like 08?
I think 2001.
2001, really?
The last game I remember winning in Seattle was 2001. And the only reason I remember that was because I think it was the first game after the whole 9/11 thing. But otherwise, I don't remember. I mean, we might have won in 2008. I just don't remember.
Last one, guys. I'll ask you, Mark. Who comes out of the West? Who comes out of the AFC?
That's such a tough question.
Everything is so even.
Here, let me put this in perspective.
Believe in the Bills this year.
Let me put this in here. You got Bo Nix, Drake May, you've got Trevor Lawrence, you've got CJ Stroud, and then you start to go with Rodgers, Allen, and Herbert. Mm-hmm. I mean, the collection of guys, there's no Lamars, there's no Mahomes, there's no Burrow, there's none of those guys in there to kind of have roadblocks. Who comes out of the AFC?
They'll go back to the quarterback. I think it's going to be the Bills.
How about you, Philly?
Yeah, it's really tough because I don't know. You could tell me pretty much almost every team, but maybe Pittsburgh. And I'll tell you, I think could go. You know what? I'm going to agree with Mark. I'm going to say this has got to be Josh Allen's time. Mm-hmm. It does. And if we take him off, I'll say Denver because I like their defense. But I'm going to say with the young quarterbacks and the inexperience in the playoffs, I'm going to say this has got to be Josh Allen's time to make his move.
Hey, can you guys think of this for just a second? Bills Mafia and the Eagle fan base in a Super Bowl in Santa Clara.
That'd be ugly.
Mark's going to be losing his mind if the Eagles are back.
Mark, if they win the Super Bowl, what happens, bro?
Oh, Lordy. My channel goes dark for a while. Hiding. Okay.
How many videos today did you do?
3, maybe. I had to live stream.
I'd make 5 off that one. I run Venezuela. That's
okay.
Yeah.
I had to do the press conference, so this is my second live stream of the day. And
I did do one. I did a live stream this morning, and I have a video later. So I do have 2. So that's like my max for the day usually.
Philly, you guys. I can't wait to this weekend, man, to see how the playoffs roll out.
It's going to be awesome, Sills. I can't wait, man.
Me too, guys.
Mark,
hey, Sills. Sills, I want to ask you something, though. Seriously. When it comes to playoffs, don't you find it interesting, though? I'm not going after you, Dak. Dak's off the hook. He's in Cancun. But don't you find it interesting that all these statistics, these quarterbacks come out, they throw 30, 40 times a game, all their numbers drop. They always drop. They look more like, if you look at playoff statistics, the teams that win, their quarterback stats look more like Jalen Hurts than Jalen Hurts looks like them in the season. So I think we're built for this, man.
Well,
I think we're
take
built
a
for
look
this.
at Peyton Manning's postseason numbers compared to his regular season numbers. I mean, there's very few quarterbacks that numbers elevate because there's better defenses. You're going against better defenses. And by the way, this year, I would say that there were better defensive coordinators this year in the game than there were offensive coordinators. Now, I think the job that Kyle Shanahan did, I think Ben Johnson in Chicago, I think what they did with Clint Kubiak up in Seattle, I actually think Brian Schottenheimer did a nice job there in Dallas as well. But I think there's a lot more D coordinators in these complex defenses. And I don't really think the quarterback plays all that hot nowadays. I just don't think these guys are as great readers. And that's why I think the guy Hurts gets away with it. Because you know why? You don't have to be Joe Montana anymore. You don't have to be Dan Marino because you don't have those complex offensive systems any longer. You need a dual threat guy to combat those D coordinators. If you can't run today, okay, your chances are limited because of free agency. Where did you lose most of your guys in free agency? In the O-line. Retirement, O-line, right? I mean, so that's where your what the biggest group of millionaires on any football team is in the offensive line. Mm-hmm. So when free agency comes, it usually hits the offensive line. And I'll leave you with this one last one here, Philly. Of the 2025 season, I told Xander this. One of the things that you really got to come away with going, holy crap. Dude, your offensive line went from the best in the NFL Super Bowl era to being less than the top 10 team. I mean, you got a lot of work to do in the offseason to figure that thing out.
I agree with you. I firmly believe that to have that kind of drop off, I don't think you had healthy center. I watched Jurgens. He holds up for like a second and then he's got to let the guy go. I don't think he's been playing healthy, and I don't think Dickerson's been healthy most of the year. But I agree. I think early you go get yourself a right guard. Maybe you get yourself another center. I think you need to retool that line.
Guys, I appreciate you. I will see you soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you. See you guys.
500, and that is my friend Mark Holmes. Yeah, that's the one thing I take away, man. I take away that you, in the 2025 season, I think the one thing you come out of it, you're like, if you're Howie Roseman, you got a lot of work to do in that O-line. I mean, there's a ton of work to do. All right, let me pay some bills here. Our great friends at Morgan & Morgan, the number one injury law firm in all the world, let alone America here, is Morgan & Morgan. If you've ever been hurt or injured on the job, guys, these are the people that you go to. I've known these folks for over 25 years. John Morgan started this company for a reason. His brother got injured on the job. Thousands of people across the country, when they turn to Morgan & Morgan, always know this. They don't get paid unless you do. Unless they settle your case. No matter if it's in an Uber or at work, call my friends at Morgan & Morgan at forthepeople.com. Make sure you get there and do this. forthepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. That's forthepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. And do me a favor. You tell them Big Sil sent you.
There's a reason Detective Johnson is the gossip king.
Oh, did you hear? Jackie and Tom
are getting a divorce? Mm-hmm. Sad.
Well, I heard that Ashley
had work done on her face? Yeah, oof.
Just like there's a reason Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury law firm. Injured? With over $25 billion recovered for our clients, there's a reason to go big.
Bathroom? Okay.
Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Oh, okay.
Ignite your nights with free live entertainment daily, only at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia's Center Bar. 7 days a week, enjoy some of the region's top party bands, performers, and DJs as they take the stage in the heart of the casino action. Great cocktails, live music, and lively moments. It's all happening at Center Bar at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. Visit livecasinophilly.com for more details and the complete list of upcoming events. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Welcome to the Jet Setters and the High Rollers, to the Shot Takers and the Tastemakers. Welcome to the Viewfinders, the Thrill Seekers, and the Night Owls. Welcome to everything you could possibly want on one 5-mile island. Welcome to the Wildwoods. Book your stay today.
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We go the extra mile to lend a helping hand. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong. We've been deeply rooted in our communities for more than 85 years. And that connection to members has earned us our spot as the #1 health insurer in the region. So while you look out for your neighbors, know IBX is always looking out for you.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
EAGLES. Eagles.
And a lot of content. A lot of content. Football does that, though. Get this. NFL attendance was down 1% this year. Exactly 0.8%. NFL doesn't care about that. NFL makes their money on TV streaming. One of the coolest things that's going to happen over the next couple of years, you know what it's going to be? It's going to be that more people are going to stream. Look at how much money. Think about this for a second here. So go to the playoffs here. This is what you're going to need. And Xander, correct me if I'm wrong on this. You're going to need Peacock, Paramount, and Prime Video to watch all the playoff games this coming weekend. That's on top of your cable bill. So you're going to be out another $100 or so a month if you're going to go and you're going to subscribe to that. Thinking about that. You're going to need an extra $100 to watch all these football games. That's right. Afford to go to a game. Here, how about this, my friend? You go to a Philadelphia Eagles game, that's a $350 ticket. Times that by 4. Okay? You're talking $1,400. Talk about the parking. Another $100. Talk about getting food. Another $100. Get little Susie and Jimmy some memorabilia. Another $150. You're talking a $2,000 weekend going to an NFL game. What do you mean? I mean, $2,000 to go to an NFL game. That's like, if think about it. If you go to 10 games, counting the preseason, you're spending $25,000 a year just to go to an Eagle game. I mean, just to go to an Eagle game. If you want to go to every home game, it's going to cost you $25,000. I mean, it's not going to an NFL game. It's not disposable income anymore. That's why people, and that's why television, that's where they make their money. And then they turn around. If attendance is down, why are they asking for new stadiums and stadium renovations? You know why? They're not doing it for you. They're doing it because they want to host like Republican conventions or Democratic conventions or WrestleMania. They're not doing it for you, the football fan. You hold 8 events a year in that stadium. 8 events a year. Think about it. They hold events every weekend, non-football season in your stadium. Not using it for football. Playoff tickets or more because the league runs those playoff tickets. That's right. Season ticket folks get an opportunity at buying playoff tickets, but I mean, the average playoff ticket's what? $1,000? And then you want to turn around and give these freaks a stadium, or you want to give them $200 million, $250 million. And then you got the NFL charging you more to watch the games. And paying my cable bill, I don't know about you, but because I do a lot more work, I don't know about you, Xander, but my cable bill is over the top. I mean, you could pay as much as $500 a month for your cable. That's $6,000 just for cable. Now you want to add another $100 to it and another $1,200 to that. You're almost paying $10,000 a month for cable. Okay? Right? Rather smoke weed on my couch and hang out with my shepherd than go, this guy's blowing blunts going, I'd rather spend the money on weed. Okay? I'd rather spend money on weed. All right. I don't have cable. I got Sunday Ticket. Good for you. You're probably the smartest, right? That's right. Right? Let's see here. $15 for a beer. Does it cost $15 for a beer at a ball game? Man, I you know what? I'm so lucky that when I go to football games, I can't remember the last time I paid to go to a football game. Now, I get lifetime tickets to go to Hurricane games. So on the road and away, I get 2 tickets. I can go to Notre Dame if I feel like it. I can go anywhere I want. I could go to the playoff games. Now, the playoff games are held by the playoff committee, but we get allocated some tickets, and I get a chance for a lifetime that I get an opportunity to go to Hurricane games. And I actually get Buck tickets too, believe it or not. See here. That's about what I pay cable. YouTube TV, all the streaming services, especially Major League Baseball. Major League Baseball, man, you talk about getting fleeced. Only thing I get is Quinn, right? Dude, ton. By the way, Nick spoke, and I want to hit on some of the things that Nick hit on. All right? Sills, get me some Eagle tickets. I should probably try to do that. I got a bunch of friends there, and I know how to get tickets too. There's a couple dudes inside that place that could get me a few tickets. I mean, especially if they make it. Get this. You're hoping that the Bears get beat by the Packers, right? And then you'll be hosting a playoff game. If you beat San Francisco on Sunday, you'll be hosting the game, right? It'll be in Philadelphia. And then you still got to worry about going on the road and playing potentially in Seattle. If Seattle holds course. Take Senor to a Canes game in Cali. Might do that, bro. Believe me, I'm supposed to be in Tempe tomorrow. I was like, we're 0-5. We're 0-4 right now. And this is our 5th time playing in Tempe. Join the group. Okay. Hey, M Fishing Maniac. I'll tell you a Betty Ann story. You ready? Xander, you're going to love this too. So here's a Betty story. Fishing Maniac, you're going to love this. I'm a young kid. I must have been my sophomore year or my junior year in high school at Catholic High. And I'm like, my aunt dressed up back in the day. I mean, my aunt looked like, as my grandfather would say, Elizabeth Taylor. Okay. And she worked at like Macy's, and she worked at Estee Lauder. So it's right. Okay. So this coach grabs me by my shirt, and had to wear a tie back then. And I think I may have had my gear on still. My aunt runs down this hill. The convent is to my right, where the nuns live, because they lived on the place where the school was, the nuns. My aunt comes running down that hill in her heels. You ever touch that kid again? I don't know. I think I heard swearing too. And my aunt went to Catholic High. She's ripping into Mickey Leone, just ripping in there. You ever talk like that to him again? And I'm sitting there, and I heard my coach. Mickey Leone's one of the most famous coaches in Connecticut Northeast when it came to baseball and hockey. And she just lit him a new one. I remember going back the next day, my coach goes, Jesus Christ. I go, yeah. See, like anybody talking crap to me here. Yeah. She's that guy. So there you go. Okay. There you go. Absolutely. Holy cow. Holy cow. Holy cow. Xander. Hold on for a second here. Hold on. I've made a mistake. Hold on. Hold on here. Folks, I've made a tragic mistake. Hold on for a second. I've got to do something. I have made a tragic mistake here. Yeah, hold on. Hold on here. Boom, boom. Z. Hold on here. Hold on here. Xander, please send this to Bill Romanowski. He's killing me right now. I forgot. Calling right now, Bill. Bill, sending you. Hold on here. Oh, my God. I forgot Bill Romanowski. Okay. We are sending link. This is on me. Oy vey. Oy vey. All right. So we're sending the link now to Bill Romanowski. Ugh. I got so much BS going on. I actually blame a lot of people for that. Oh. That's on me, man. Yeah. So, yeah, Bill Romanowski. Hopefully we're going to get him up here in a second here. Absolutely. You know what, man? I'll tell you what. I don't know. Maybe CTE's hitting in here, man. That was a BS move because this guy here is one of the true legends in the history of Connecticut. And you know what? When he was at BC, I think he's a New Britain guy. I think because Bill made a couple all-state teams up there, and I made a couple all-state teams when I was at Catholic High. And he would go on to win 5 Super Bowls. 4 Super Bowls, excuse me. 4, if I'm not mistaken. And we're going to get a little 49ers. Yesterday, we had Randy Cross. We talked with Randy. And now we're going to talk with one of the legendary guys with 4 Super Bowls. And and by the way, former Philadelphia Eagle himself, Bill Romanowski joins us now here. Bill, how you doing, bro? Happy holidays to you.
Hey, same to you, Dan. Doing great.
Fantastic. Bill, let me ask you about your thoughts on the 2025 San Francisco 49ers. I mean, a ton of injuries. Do you believe that this is the best year that Kyle Shanahan has had as coaching that football team?
Probably coaching, yes. Because what he got out of that talent, which, everyone knows they've been decimated with injuries, and, played with a backup quarterback, won a bunch of games there. What he did was, he was pulling rabbits out of his what.
Absolutely. What do you make of Brock Purdy as a quarterback? I heard something, and I mentioned this to Randy Cross yesterday. I heard, and I thought, like you maybe thought, I thought it was blasphemy a little bit, because I heard Steve Young say this. He's got Montana qualities in the pocket. The way he sees and dissects and processes, he sees a lot of that. Now, he's not a big guy, but how do you see Brock Purdy in that system with Kyle?
I think what he does with the weapons he has, which I couldn't say that he's got a lot of weapons other than, Christian McCaffrey is a weapon. But do they have receivers? I think they got a decent tight end. A decent tight end when Christian and they have a receiving core. Then all of a sudden, Kittle comes into play. But as you can see, they shut down Kittle last week pretty well.
Absolutely.
Seattle did.
Yeah, Seattle did a great job.
So he gets the most out of what he's got. And I think a lot of that is play calling with Kyle. I think, it's close to genius.
Absolutely it is. What's your takeaway on the Philadelphia Eagles heading into this game? Do you think that they are the team to beat in the NFC, or do you think that's the Rams, maybe somebody else? Your takeaways on this Eagle team that's kind of been up and down offensively, getting better defensively, but offensively, they've kind of struggled a little bit this year.
I actually think they're lacking a little bit of focus. I think winning the Super Bowl last year, they're I don't feel like they're hungry. It's like that drive that they're going to kick everybody's ass. All they got to do is have that opposing team line up on the other side of the ball. I don't feel like they have that killer instinct.
Like a year ago, they were mowing teams over, right?
Oh, they were. That
was a completely no. You've won 4 Super Bowls, so do you think being the hunter versus being hunted, do you think that's something you also have to learn as you go along the process of winning multiple championships?
Hey, when you come out the next year as, you just won the Super Bowl, you get everybody's best shot. And how you handle it, kind of dictates your season. You handle it well, it can make you that much better, knowing that you're getting everybody's best shot. And this is where, the head coach being a psychologist, because that's what he is. He's got to be a psychologist because it's about getting everybody's mind right week in and week out. And, the great ones do that. Mike Shanahan, when I was at the Broncos, hey, we had the talent, but everybody's mind had to be right. 49ers, hey, I started with Bill Walsh. He got everybody's mind right every week. George Seifert took over the next year. We just had a team that if we would have lost, it was all on us. I think the mentality, in that 49er locker room was we play our ball, nobody can beat us. And we had a similar philosophy in Denver when we were winning Super Bowls.
Bill, how much does postseason? Here's what the people in Philly are leaning on right now. As you know, we're based in Philly here, so I mean, they're leaning on this pedigree. They're leaning on having playoff experience. How much do you think that plays into all the things you've done in the past? What does that mean going into a weekend when you've had so much Super Bowl experience? Is it a factor, or is that just a media-made thing?
Yeah, I think that's all media. I think about my first year in Denver, 96. We win our division. We get home field advantage in the playoffs. And the new Jacksonville Jaguars under Tom Coughlin come in and kick our butts, because you got to be ready to play. You got to be ready to execute. And, we weren't ready that day, and they cleaned our clocks. And hey, on any given day, any given Sunday, you know, like when I look at this game on paper, the Eagles ought to completely slaughter the 49ers. They should on paper. I don't think it's going to be a slaughter. I think they have an advantage, but do they show up hungry? Because the 49ers, they just got their butts. The score does not show that game the way it was because they got annihilated. That's how I see it. And so I think the 49ers are going to come in with a big time chip on their shoulder and they're going to be ready to play.
Bill, is something like keeping that will and that drive, in your opinion, that you had and your teammates had, is that a hard thing to do too, week in and week out, keeping focus and not, I'll use a Mike Tomlin line, not letting go of the rope? I mean, I thought a couple times this year, you watched that Eagle team this year, and I thought they wobbled a couple times because, again, I mean, they had played so much football so late. Do you think, again, how staying focused like that, how difficult is that to keep a hold of that rope as you're going for another championship?
It is hard. And that's where I feel like the head coach, he's got to balance the attaboys and the pitchfork, and it's a balancing act. You don't want to pitchfork them too much, but you don't want too many attaboys. You get it next play. No, get it right now. You hear me? Step it up and get the job done. And that is where that psychology comes in. And the the big time coaches know how to get their team ready to play. And and at the end of the day, Dan, it comes down to talent.
Yeah.
I don't see many donkeys winning, the Kentucky Derby. Okay. And this ain't no different. This is NFL playoffs, and donkeys don't win playoff games.
Hey, Bill, Zach Bond, have you ever seen a story like this where, no, maybe, Bill, your journey, maybe tell us a little more about how you came through the ropes here, because this guy, Zach Bond, they bring him in as a special teams guy. Maybe he's going to be an edge rusher. He was a special teams guy in New Orleans, right?
Yeah.
Philadelphia. He gets with Vic Fangio. This guy turns him into a Pro Bowl, like first team All-Pro linebacker. Have you ever seen a story like that before when you're talking about a guy from nowhere?
It's kind of, I look at it this way. When the situation is right, you got the right coach, and you got the heart and the desire, and that's when magic can happen. Like I look at myself, 16 years. Are you kidding me? These genetics right here made it 16 years. And it was just heart, desire, learning how to take care of your body right, because the most important thing about the NFL is showing up every Sunday. And that ain't easy to do. It's a violent sport. And people will say, oh, the game's softer now. Hey, the game's not soft.
No.
Yeah, they may not be able to, they may be protecting the quarterback a little more and receivers across the middle. But I tell you what, you can still rock a guy with your shoulder. You don't have to hit him with the, front of your helmet to completely knock him out. You can do it with a shoulder.
Now, wait, Bill, do you think you could play in today's NFL the way you played? Come on, bro. You think you could play today? Come on now.
I mean, Dan, I was the most fine guy when I played.
I know you were.
And but, real pros learn how to play violent with the tools that they're allowed. And that's where being a real pro comes in, because it ain't easy, when someone's across the middle and you want to lay them out and think, okay, I got to hit him with a shoulder. I can't hit him with the crown of my helmet. I mean, that ain't easy.
No, it's not. I was a spear. I was a big spear guy, man. I'm gonna hit you with that head, man. If you
That's how I was taught to play.
Me too.
I mean, I was taught my helmet was a weapon.
Yes.
And use it.
Yeah, and I did, by the way. All right, Bill. Which one of those Super Bowl rings are your favorite?
It was Denver when we beat the Packers. And I can say this, Dan, it wasn't my best game.
Huh.
The plays, I tell you what, Steve Atwater on defense had probably the greatest game he's ever played, but that game, with how we got there as a wild card, having to go, we got one game at home, and that was Jacksonville. We beat them. Then we had to go on the road to Kansas City and on the road to Pittsburgh. Two really, really hard places. And then you had the defending champs. Man for man, they were stronger than us, but we were the better team.
Bill, you look back at that now with those 4 rings, you're one of just a few people that have done something like that. I mean, I think Charles Haley's got 5. And there's very few people on defense that have more than you. I mean, you look back on that now as you're getting older. Do you look back at that now and go, Jesus, man, some of these, winning these 4 Super Bowls, plus, like you said, you were at the tail end, right, of the dynasty with the 49ers. You were there at the tail end with, you had Walsh and then you had Seifert, right? So,
yes.
So you're at the tail end of that. It's got to really mean a lot when you pull those rings out.
Oh, it does, nothing but gratitude and appreciation for being able to do what I did, for the teammates I had. How lucky am I? I get drafted by the San Francisco 49ers, and I win 2 Super Bowls back to back. I got calls from the Colts and the Cowboys. And, they didn't take me. And thank the man above, that the 49ers took me. And it was perfect, because also I was in a system where we didn't wear pads during the week. So Bill Walsh, George Seifert didn't beat us up.
Yeah.
He said, we play on Sunday. We don't play Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Get your mind right, fly around to the football, make plays, hand placement, all that, had to be right. But we do the physical thing on Sunday.
Bill, do you like today's game? Do you like the way it's played, or do you look at it like I do and say, man, I'll tell you, I'm just not seeing, and I don't want to sound like, oh man, get off my lawn stuff here. But I mean, I don't see how we played. It's just not the same. It looks like a completely different game to me.
I look at it this way. We were kind of in that era where it was gladiators, and these are athletes, and because I had speed, I could play in this game today.
Yeah.
I could play because, I could run. And that's the key to this game now, because everybody's an athlete.
Absolutely. Who do you see coming out of the NFC? A couple more questions here for you. Who do you see coming out of the NFC?
I tell you what, I haven't watched the Seahawks that much, but when I saw them, I think the one question mark is going to be, is Darnold going to be the guy? Can he lead a team to and win the Super Bowl? That's the question mark for me. But everywhere else on that field,
Yeah.
they are stacked.
How about over in the AFC? Your Denver
Ooh.
Broncos, boy, they're number 1 seed right now, and
I
Sean
know.
Payton has done a hell of a job. Then you got Vrabel, kind of a guy cut out of the same cloth as you there a little bit, right?
Yeah,
So
I know.
You must really like Mike, because Mike is one of those guys too. So who do you like coming out of the AFC?
My two teams, that I've kind of been watching, I'm like, the Patriots to me snuck up. They snuck up on everybody.
Yeah, they did.
And how Mike turned that team around the way he did, hey, hats off to him. What a great job. And Sean Payton. Again, I'm like, are these guys really that good? And they just execute. And, Bo Nix he's the real deal. And now it's the time. Now, hey, you had a great season, but now it's playoffs. It's all or nothing. Now we're going to see, who's really got it.
I want you to explain these last 2 questions here when it comes to playoff football, because again, I talked about the wobbling a little bit on offense with the Eagles all year long. Bill, is it possible to get into the playoffs, flip a switch, or does the season of the 2025 year define your identity? Can you be a different team in the postseason?
No, you're gonna be the same team, Dan. It's the teams that are playing their best football at the end of the year. And you got to ride that momentum, because that momentum breeds confidence. With that confidence, it's you take the field knowing you're going to kick somebody's ass. And a lot of people don't have that mentality. It's not like you're going to be able to change, and all of a sudden, Bill Walsh used to say, man, whatever you do on Saturday, the night before, don't change it. Don't all of a sudden, if you're a guy that, hey, the 49ers at our little snack after we watch film on Saturday, and we have a meeting kind of fine tuning everything, they serve beer. They served beers. And he said, if that's what you do, don't change it. Don't not have that beer, the night before the Super Bowl. Do the exact same thing, because that's what got you here.
Finally here, for you, Bill, how did you prep? I mean, the second season, all the great playoff games that you played in, man. How do you go? And you just got through saying, I'm doing the same stuff that I did throughout the entire season. You and I know routine. Players love routines. We hate deviating off of routines. We got a guy who's going to tape our ankles, left to right, right to left, what have you. We were superstitious. I was. So, you're doing things a certain way. Is there anything you change when you're in the postseason, getting ready for these playoff games, knowing you're 4 games away or 3 games away from winning a Super Bowl?
To me, you just do it, and you just realize, it's like, going into the Super Bowl. It's like when you've got 2 weeks to prepare for a team, it's like every single play, what's coming. They know what defense you're in. You know what play they're going to run. Can you make the play? And that's what the great ones do. They make the plays when it's there, when their time is called.
Bill, were you more intimidating in the postseason than you were during the regular season?
I don't know about that, but
postseason, did you talk a little bit? Come on now, did you give a little bit more?
I maybe talked a little more shit. I was that much more, fired up and ready to go, man.
That's good stuff, Bill. What are you doing, man? Are you still in the nutrition business?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
What are we doing?
Yeah, Nutrition 53, Lean 1. We've got a
By
new
the way, folks, I've taken this stuff. It's the best stuff on the planet. I'm telling you, I've taken it. This stuff works, man. I mean,
Yeah.
I had people coming and going onto your website after I was promoting it. They were
Yeah.
all going like this. How do I get there? And it's Nutrition 53. I'll tell folks how they can get there.
Yeah, just go to lean1.com or nutrition53.com, and we have no sugar added formulas, no seed oils. I just keep at the end of the day, you can't survive on a product that I formulated 15 to 18 years ago. You got to keep making improvements. No different than, in the NFL. You got to keep trying to get better every year. And that's what we have. And, people love the product. I drink it every day. And, so I just like making a difference in people's lives. It's still to this day rewarding.
Absolutely. Bill, I love you to death, man. And I appreciate you. I'm glad we reconnected here. I hope we can do this again. Maybe during the playoffs we can do this
Absolutely.
again.
Just let me know, Dan.
Absolutely. Thanks, Bill. I appreciate it, brother. Absolutely. Bill Romanowski. Woo! I get a text. Where am I? What are we doing here? I'm like, oh. CTE is the thing, I guess. Or wait a minute. Xander, maybe I'm getting too old. And by the way, right? I mean, he texted me over here and he goes like this. He's like, hey, what are we doing? I told you I would come on. But I'm like, oh shit. Okay. All right. Look at him grabbing onto this. He said real quarterbacks show up in the playoffs. Hear that, Mark? Oh, man. Philly. All right, Big Sills here. Our good friends at Morgan & Morgan, the #1 injury law firm in all of America for a reason. Because they win. Thousands of attorneys from coast to coast. Make sure that you and your family are well represented if you've ever been injured on the job. Go to forthepeople.com/Big Sills or Pound Law 529. That's FORthepeople.com/Big Sills or Pound Law 529. And do me a favor, you tell them Big Sills sent you.
There's a reason Detective Johnson is the gossip king.
Oh, did you hear? Jackie and Tom
are getting a divorce? Sad.
Well, I heard that Ashley
had work done on her face? Yeah, oof.
Just like there's a reason Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury law firm. Injured? With over $25 billion recovered for our clients, there's a reason to go big.
Bathroom? Okay.
Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Oh, okay.
Ignite your nights with free live entertainment daily, only at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia's Center Bar. 7 days a week, enjoy some of the region's top party bands, performers, and DJs as they take the stage in the heart of the casino action. Great cocktails, live music, and lively moments. It's all happening at Center Bar at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. Visit livecasinophilly.com for more details and the complete list of upcoming events. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica, who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Welcome to the Jet Setters and the High Rollers, to the Shot Takers and the Tastemakers. Welcome to the Viewfinders, the Thrill Seekers, and the Night Owls. Welcome to everything you could possibly want on one 5-mile island. Welcome to the Wildwoods. Book your stay today.
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We go the extra mile to lend a helping hand.
Thank you. Welcome
we step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong. We've been deeply rooted in our communities for more than 85 years. And that connection to members has earned us our spot as the #1 health insurer in the region. So while you look out for your neighbors, know IBX is always looking out for you.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
EAGLES. Eagles.
How do I get to advertise on the show? Bill Romanowski, Patrician 53. Have your folks give me a call. Stuff is great too, dude. I've done it before. It's great. He's advertised with me before. So, yeah, man. I mean, you got to try that stuff. I'm not kidding you. All right. Hey, I appreciate each and every single one of you. Joe, Xander, thank you very much. 2 to 6 tomorrow. By the way, my Hurricanes play tomorrow night. How you doing? Can't wait to see that Ole Miss game and the Hurricanes. We'll see you tomorrow as we're getting closer to the playoffs, and we'll catch you on the flip side.